Good morning and welcome to the 2018 Bradley Open Cashers Round. 6 games for you today here from Ken Bowl in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm Mike Flanagan from InsideBowling.com. We had about 190 participants in qualifying. Got it down to 108 last night. 6 more games left at 2:30 in the morning. It is now 10 a.m. and we are down to the top 40 bowlers. Everyone does cash that comes to this round. Starting out on lanes 29 and 30, we have 4 bowlers to a pair. Bradley Open brought to you by Classic Bowling Products, a great distributor for pro shops and bowling centers of all things bowling. Thank you, Classic Products. Also, New Center Consulting. If you're looking to improve your bowling center, or maybe you bowl somewhere and your center needs a little upgrade, let the general manager know. Check out the folks over at New Center Consulting. And they can help you improve your bowling center with some creative ways and inexpensive prices. Also, to Hammer Bowling. Make your next bowling ball purchase selection. Consider Hammer Bowling. Great lineup of bowling balls top to bottom. From reactive resin, cutting edge, big asymmetrical core bowling balls all the way down to even a Black Widow spare ball to urethane balls. Hammer's got it all. Check them out at hammerbowling.com. Also, need to thank Creating the Difference, Great Flood Brewing Company, Laker Lanes, United American Supply, and TouchScore.com, Touch Desk 3 management system. Thank you for helping make this broadcast possible, and thank you for also helping make the $15,000 top prize possible and the great payout here of over $50,000 at the Bradley Open. Got a pretty big field here in regards to resumes. We've got the reigning PBA Player of the Year in E.J. Tackett. I would say combined we probably have about 75 national PBA Tour titles participating and hundreds of folks that have made television shows if you add all the shows together. We've got a bowler in Brandon Novak who's won this tournament back-to-back years in 15 and 16. Defending champion Justin Knowles did not make it into the top 108 last night. So we will have another champion, but not a defending champion. On lanes 29 and 30, we have Kurt Pelon, Joe Bailey. Looks like John Nolan and Giselle Pass. Giselle is the highest finishing female. She's the only female bowler to make it to today that I've seen. She bowled a big game the last game to get in. She bowled 250 the last game. I believe it was 254. Came down to the wire for the high finishing female spot. If they wouldn't have made it into the top 40 and they were outside the top 40, he was still taking a female today. It would have been 40th spot, but Giselle earned it on her own, finishing, I believe, at plus 25. If you're looking for any scores from yesterday, you can go over to InsideBowling.com and click on the link at the top, and it'll take you to a separate page where our stream on YouTube is embedded. And below that is the chat. Below the chat is an event information tab where you can go and check out and see any of the scores from yesterday, along with the Sunday night classic doubles, Friday night classic doubles, where it was Derek Roseberry, who actually did not bowl the event. Derek Roseberry and Gene Perez took home the $2,000 top prize on Friday night. Coming into today, your tournament leader is Mike Fagan, and pins do carry over. Last night he bowled games of 191, 236, 267, 289, 229, and 204 to lead. Bob Learn Jr. is in second at 14.01, just 15 pins behind. In third is Jeff Evans at 1371. Fourth is Kurt Pelon at 1353. Fifth is Jeff Fair. Jeff's won this tournament before back in 2009. He sits fifth at 1340. In sixth, we have Dan Higgins at 1338, and seventh, it's Nick Crummell at 1335. And rounding out the top eight, which will be our next cut, Ronnie Russell, 1319. That's with a 172 the last game. Jason is the man. I'll start with this one. Thank you. I got to tell you, gold star of the day goes to Jason. We are cutting down to the top eight after these 6 games today, with pins carrying over, as I said. Matt Gasson is just out in ninth. He's at 13-18. So with the score being 13-19 to get into the top eight, just to give you an idea, we'll go all the way down to 30th position, who's John Nolan, who's on our live stream. 12-18 is his number. So he's in 30th. So there's 22 bowlers within 100 pins of the 8th position. If you want to follow along with the scores, like I said, InsideBowling.com, click on the event information tab, and it's down below for you. I'd like to welcome in all of our viewers into our chat room. Had a lot of people watching yesterday, and we certainly appreciate everybody coming in early this morning. I haven't had a chance to check the chat yet, but I will here in just a little bit. Make sure you smash that like button down below. And make sure that if you're not already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You get instant notifications every time we go live. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. And I'm just bringing it up now. Our subscriber number as of right now in real time is at 9,637 YouTube subscribers. We can't thank you enough for subscribing to our channel. About 350 away from that coveted 10,000 subscriber number that we've been striving to get to for a while. Talked about Jeff Evans. We're going to take you over to his pair now. Lanes 25 and 26. Got my scoreboards built there. J.R. Raymond bowled 215 on this pair last night. He was plus 10. He was 3 spots in the green into the top 40 and then bowled 215 and made it in comfortably. We'll bring in our split screen now at this time as we just got it built for you. Be able to look at both pairs at the same time. Both pairs are in the 4th frame of game number 1 of 6 here today. We are on East Coast time here in Louisville, Kentucky. Ken Bowl Bowling Center, new venue this year. I want to thank the entire staff for having the tournament and us here. Super nice people. We've enjoyed our time here at this bowling center very much. I mentioned the top 8 bowlers. I'll go through the rest of them that made it till today. In 9th, we have Matt Gasson, followed by Tyler Slaubaugh, Nick Cooper, Tom Doherty, Zach Doty, Kyle Troop, Steve Novak, Chris Arcaro, Chris Sepharith, Zeke Bate, Mike Kahn, E.J. Tackett, Daniel Farish, Andrew Anderson, Vern Peterson, Tony Lambert, Ronnie Sparks, Giselle Boss, J.R. Raymond, David O'Sullivan, Brandon Novak, John Nolan, Chad Roberts, Doug Hymos, Joe Bailey, Brian Wallace, Matt Staninger, Brett Shepard, Jeremy King, Kyle Rogers, and Brandon Flora. Also, highest finishing youth gets in 40th position is Caleb Nunn. Just missing last night by 2 pins was Glenn Woods. By 4 pins was Chris Kalela. Gene Perez missed by 6. Liz Johnson missed by 9. Ari Wilson missed by 12. Brian Sorallo and Brian Bolachek both missed by 14. Did have some folks want to know how Nick Thomas finished. He was our Adam Levine lookalike all day yesterday. And I guess he's the Adam Levine lookalike for the rest of his life, actually. He finished in 62nd position. He bowled games of 184, 191, 196, 213, 209, and in 164 the last game. And he finished at 1157. It took 1205 to make the cut. So thanks for the memories yesterday, Nick Thomas. It was a blast having you on our live stream. A lot of fun. We'll go check back in over here on 29 and 30 with a full screen and the scoreboard. John Nolan up on lane 30 currently. Once again, he's bowling with Kurt Pilon, Giselle Pass, and Joe Bailey. I want to say hello to Pim L, Darren Dunsbury, Chris G, Christopher Lacrosse, Bill from Florida, Adrian Bradley, Jake Trumpauer, Bowler 1296, PGA Loom. Hello, everyone. Bowler 1296. Let me know if that's a little bit better for you. Giselle is an up-and-coming female superstar. She will go on to win on tour, on the women's tour. She is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Here's Kurt Pilon looking for a double up here on lane 30. Pilon's one of my favorites. I really like this guy. He's more of a veteran now today, but when he first came out on tour, he went to Saginaw Valley State University. There's a guy that from St. Louis that went to Saginaw Valley as well. His name is Joe Klein. He told me about 15 years ago that the greatest bowler he's ever bowled with was Kurt Pilon. Kurt doesn't get a lot of recognition, but Kurt can certainly play. He gave the tour life a try, and he was no slouch out on tour. He held his own. Kurt loves the sport of bowling. He absolutely loves being around bowling. Works in pro shops. Helps a lot of people with their game. Spends extra time with them. Getting them the right layouts. Coaching them a little bit. I've seen him with people. He just takes extra time with everybody trying to teach them about the game of bowling. Also, we do have a really cool Inside Bowling giveaway that we're doing today just before the finals. We're going to give away a Gauntlet Fury from Hammer. You got to subscribe to both Inside Bowling and Hammer's YouTube pages to be eligible to win. Little 210 for Joe Bailey. Adrian Bradley actually speaks about Kurt Pilon. He says, he's currently working at the Bowling IQ in Sterling Heights, Michigan. He's worked with me on my release. Also at the Bowling IQ, Ronnie Sparks and Andrew Anderson. working with bowlers up there, teaching fundamentals, helping people with their games. I think that's awesome. Check in on 25 and 26. We'll full screen. Jeff Evans. Still possible 224 left. Cardi Bowles asks in the chat, is this 6 more games of qualifying? And no, it's not 6 more games of qualifying. It's the advancers round, so to speak. So qualifying technically was the first day, the first 6 games. And then they dropped the pins. And then last night was the advancers round. And now today is the cashers round. And the scores from the advancers round and the cashers round are combined. And the top 8 will then bowl in a match play bracket, where they will bowl head-to-head. Players will be eliminated. They'll go from 8 to 4 to 2 to 1. First prize is $15,000 here at the Bradley. I see you all out there subscribing to the channel this morning. I can greatly, greatly appreciate that. You'll be eligible to win that Gauntlet Fury bowling ball that I'll draw for a little bit later. You'll be notified in your YouTube messages whether or not you won that ball. We'll be doing that probably in about 5 hours. Got a clearing of the deadwood. Always exciting when you clear a deadwood. Thanks, Todd. Appreciate it. Todd came by and said hello this weekend when I was in the booth. Yes, AJ Crone, anybody that's subscribed to the channel, you could be subscribed from day one, will be notified if they won a Gauntlet Fury. But you also have to be subscribed to the Hammer Bowling YouTube page as well. I have someone behind the scenes that is logging into both channels, copying and pasting everything just about 5 minutes before we draw, and doing the old Control F function in a spreadsheet to find everybody that is eligible. And then we're going to click on a random number generator to generate a number for us, and then we will go down to that number on the spreadsheet, and that's how we're going to select the winner. That's our that's an inside scoop at how we're going to select that person. Jake wants to know if last night I was able to get Steak and Shake after I got done, and as a matter of fact, I did. I went down to Steak and Shake last night and went through the drive-thru. There was nobody else in the drive-thru. Grabbed it, went back to the room, scarfed it down. Probably giving too many details here at this point, but I then, you know, got ready for bed, laid down, crashed. They started an hour later today, so everybody can get a little extra sleep. I actually feel pretty good today. And if Mitch Beasley was here, he would probably say, yeah, pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. Feeling pretty good. Woke up, Cyborg Pearl was still on the nightstand, and yeah, pretty much feeling pretty good. That's how I feel today. Got to give a shout out to RG watching this morning. You guys are awesome in the chat. Everybody's saying hit the like button. I will say we've had really good viewership this weekend. Really good viewership. You guys love watching this tournament. And I will say I had a very long week with meetings, and I work from home usually, so I can kind of make my own schedule. And last week it was, you know, pretty much getting up 6:30, 7 o'clock every day, kind of office hours, and that's difficult on me. And then I actually flew out Monday to head to St. Louis and have to drive into Hopkinsville to work with EBI, and I had to get up at 4 in the morning last Monday. I've just never really caught up. And then this weekend with these long hours, he's getting out of here last night 2:30 in the morning. I don't know if I necessarily brought my A game yesterday for everybody, but everybody was so encouraging in the chat and saying what a great job the broadcast was. I just can't thank you guys enough, because when you I figured it out. I broadcasted from 8:30 in the morning yesterday till 2:30 at night with a 1.5 hour break. That's a lot of sitting in the booth. And for the first time in a long time, I mean, I've kind of had some easier streams where I haven't had to stream one of those long, full days like that in a long time. And coming in flying solo this event, woo, boy, I'm gonna have to. I'm going to have to swing the bat a little bit more if I'm going to step up to the plate. Let's just put it that way. But I'm here for you today. I'm refreshed. It got to be about 3 o'clock yesterday. And to do the iPhone analogy, you know, I was at 1% battery with a good 3 games to go. And I didn't have a power source. It wasn't pretty yesterday afternoon. I don't think I've ever had that much dead air on our airwaves in the history of Inside Bowling as I did for part of the day yesterday. They added that extra game in qualifying, which just really, really added a ton of time on this demanding pattern. How about Giselle Pass here? Possible 239 game. Let's see. Oh, 5-pin. .210, 193, and John Nolan can finish with 174. John Nolan, I know I keep mentioning this because it's kind of like his big accomplishment, but he's won the Masters. I remember that show, John Nolan winning the Masters. I'm going to go ahead and pretty much say Giselle's going to pick that 5-pin. We'll take you over here to 25 and 26. 194, 193, 230, and JR can finish with 195. So just like that. Got a game in the books. Roll on to game number 2. This is a great opportunity to bring up my my cool giveaway that we're doing again. Mention it again. If you're subscribed to the Inside Bowling channel on YouTube and you're subscribed to Hammer Bowling on YouTube, you have an opportunity today to win a Gauntlet Fury bowling ball. Very simple to do. You got enough time between first and second game here. See Kyle Troop, David O'Sullivan, Chris Arcaro. See Brandon Novak off to the right side of your screen. 6-7 looks like for Brandon. I appreciate that, Todd and Chris in the chat. I appreciate that. Has anyone in here used that ball, and how does it react? I'm a huge Hammer supporter. Well, Gauntlet Fury, it's kind of, you know, a lot of balls come out, and I kind of feel like that ball is kind of hidden a little bit. It's kind of like a little hidden gem. I know that J.R. Raymond led the U.S. Open the first day, and he used that ball exclusively. I believe that was the tournament that he led. All the tournaments kind of run together for me now. Once I turned 38 back in September, I vaguely remember things. I'm close. I know that he led a tournament, and it was a big field national tournament on the first day using a Gauntlet Fury. I know that. That's a fact. If it was the U.S. Open or not, I'm 80% sure that was the U.S. Open. Brandon Trainham says the Gauntlet Fury is a hell of a ball in the chat. Well, that's good, I think. How does it compare to the Maverick Pearl? I believe it hooks more overall throughout the lane. The Maverick Pearl is going to delay hook a little bit and probably be a little stronger off the end of the pattern. Brandon Trainham's opinion says it's a hybrid, so it's really predictable and very easy with surface adjustments. It's a little bit more archy than the Maverick Pearl. So there you go. That was pretty close. So we've got Evans and Raymond and company again with E.J. Tackett also on that pair with the skip procedure. We'll be seeing some of the players back-to-back. So it'll kind of give you an opportunity to see how the lanes play differently. I'm going to open up the split screen here so we can get a look at a couple different styles. We've got Steve Novak, Chris Arcaro, David O'Sullivan, and the guy yesterday I kind of sort of re-fell in love with, Bob Learn Jr. I always kind of root for the crafty veterans that I grew up watching when I was a kid. And we keep reverting back to that 1996 flagship open where Bob Learn at the Erie Civic Center pulled the highest 4 games ever on a television show. I believe he had averaged 282 that day with an AMF RPM swirl. And I noticed Bob yesterday, he had such a good look on the lanes after we made that cut. He was on our featured pair to start. Then he was on our featured pair the last game. And he was about 20 boards deeper. And he bowled about 480 for the 2 games on our featured pairs. And after every single shot yesterday, he just sat down in the bowler's area in the same chair. And he looked just like whenever he bowled on television. He was that focused and locked in. He's never bowled this tournament before. And right now, I can tell you on 25 and 6, David O'Sullivan's up on the approach. You're going to see him come in right now. Learn is standing directly behind him, watching the ball go down the lane, trying to read ball motion. Bob Learn is not mailing in this tournament, and yesterday I picked him to win the tournament. I like to make bold predictions. It's fun to do. It's fun to be a fan, sitting in the chair that I am. So about 4 years ago at the IB Open, Dell Ballard Jr. made the top 16 and was leading after a couple of games, and I was rooting for Dell that day. And I've got the same kind of similar feeling today with Bob Learn. That doesn't mean that, you know, everybody else in the field, a lot of my friends and folks that I've known have supported what we do here for years. Nice pickup for Chris Arcaro. But I don't know. The bowling fan takes over. Forget all the affiliations of you know, how long I've known people or who I'm affiliated with, you know, through the business side of things. When you just strip everything down and you're just Mike Flanagan who loves bowling, there's just something special about Bob Learn today. And Bob bowled tremendously well last night. I go back and look at his scores right now on Inside Bowling. You can see them too on the event information tab. Bob finished in second after yesterday. Bowled games of 232, 238, 202, 247, 214, and 268 the last game. So on the live stream pairs, he bowled 232 and 268. So I apologize. He bowled 500. He bowled 500 the 2 games. Game 1 and Game 6. And he's 30 pins ahead of third. And he's 15 pins behind Fagan coming into today. And he bowls on the PBA 50 tour. One of the other things about this event is a lot of people were bowling in long sleeves yesterday, and then you saw some folks in shorts. And it's been cold here. It's been a cold weekend. There's been some snow, ice. Every day we got to de-ice the cars when we get out to the parking lot at the end of the night. And in the morning when you leave your hotel, it's been very, very chilly. See EJ in long sleeves and David O'Sullivan on your screen is in shorts. Today, I will tell you, I wore a jacket the entire day yesterday, although it wasn't necessary last night. At that point in time, it was more like my blanket, and I was tired. Today, I don't have a jacket on, so that kind of tells you a little bit about the temperature in the bowling center. So I'm surprised to see EJ bowling in long sleeves today. He's in his, looks like that's his PBA league jacket. Want to join me, Jason, or? Tournament director Jason Ushwall here is going to join me here and sitting next to me as I've just been rambling on. Good morning to you, Jason, and how are things going with the tournament so far?
Morning. Everything's going pretty well. Getting everything started on time. I had a what I'll call a Mike Flanagan moment this morning. My hotel did not give me a timely wake-up call, so I had to get here in a little bit of a rush, but we got everything going on the lanes. You know, learning with a lot of these guys, making some great suggestions. We've got the skipping a pair, but Tom Doherty brought up a great point this morning. If we skipped all the pairs, we'd have the bowlers ending on the same lane, so we're going to make a slight adjustment. And on the last game, they're just going to move one pair to the right instead of skipping a pair. So they'll make sure to bowl on a different pair of lanes for every game they bowl on this morning.
Jason, you get to check everybody into the tournament. You have to take their tournament entry fees. You get to know all these guys. And I just want to put you on the spot for a minute.
Okay.
Kind of make you vulnerable here for a minute, but is there anybody today that you're rooting for, or just somebody you'd like to see win this tournament, as being now the owner of the tournament and all the history? Is there somebody that you just would like to just see win the tournament?
I'll never say that I'll have one person that I want to see win. You always like to see locals and youth out there competing with what I would consider some of the best players in the world. Mm-hmm. I think it's an amazing accomplishment that what Giselle put together last night. I'm always a big advocate for one of these great lady athletes to come out and continue to compete and look to put that trophy on their mantle as well as the guys do. So, I'd like to see her continue to do well. Was pulling for Liz and Aaron last night. They've been great supporters of the event.
Sure.
So I'd always like to see that. I'm like you. I like watching and seeing bowlers do well that I grew up watching on TV. Mm-hmm. Bob now, Walter Ray last year. So there's a little pull there. And like you said, I've got to know a lot of these guys personally. So no number one favorite. Just like to see everyone do well, but to continue to see the ladies and the youth do well is a plus.
This morning, I'll tell you, there are some players that are making some mental errors. We've seen EJ Tackett just missed a spare. We saw Steve Novak go flying past the 7-pin. It's amazing always when I bowl tournaments, and I'm sure many of you that bowl as well that are watching, what a night's sleep will do to your arm swing. You could be, just on fire at 2 o'clock in the morning, bowling your last game here. You go to the hotel, you sleep for a bit, you come back the next morning, and it's just not the same bowler. You're not used to throwing cross lane. Your body hasn't woken up yet. It's kind of a reset button every day. Like the bowler can walk in here and I just watched Doug Hymos there on lane 28 actually just went blowing by a 10-pin. It's very easy to come in after a full day of grinding on the lanes, and then you got to come out and grind again for another day, and now you've got the pressure of all the money on the line and a 40-8 cut from 40 players down to 8, and you got to try to make a run, and it's just mentally just exhausting.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I think as much as physically it was draining, and yesterday was definitely a long day for a lot of these guys. You know, for everybody here this morning, yourself and myself included. But these guys are putting it out there on the lanes. I think mentally it's probably even more so draining to come back, reset, going through A or B squad yesterday. Some bowlers bowling the re-entry, like we have Tyler Slawball to our left bowling with Tom Doherty, who was a re-entry bowler last night and is here for the top 40 this morning. You know, that's a grind. He's even put in 3 more games. So to mentally reset after each one of those blocks, and then like you said, physically as well, you know, we're learning along with the bowlers. We did 6 games this year instead of 5. And we're going to reevaluate that for next season to see if that was a plus, if it was worth it, if it was something that the bowlers enjoyed, and that's why we put out a lot of feedback and comment cards this morning. And believe me, I really like constructive criticism. If I don't hear what the bowlers have to say, and they're the most important people out there, then we're not going to know how to continue to make this event better for everybody.
I was discussing last night on the live stream. I think the amount of games in qualifying should be dictated by the difficulty level of the oil pattern. So, for instance, if you're bowling on a house shot, you can have up to an 8-game qualifying block with the format that you have. If you're bowling on a medium pattern, you're probably good with 6 games or so.
Okay.
If you're bowling on an extremely hard pattern, 4 games is probably ideal, but you're not going to get anybody to pay $350 to bowl
for
4 games. That's just not going to happen, so that's unrealistic. So in my opinion, 5 probably is the sweet spot. I understand 6. I do get it.
Right.
But you're not going to get these bowlers to do 1-lane courtesy, and you're not going to get them to go up and rush up there to make their next ball, you know, make their next shot.
No, I agree 100%.
And as you know, and I would never suggest this, and I know you wouldn't do it, and nobody wants this, I would not make the lanes any easier just for pace of play.
Right. And that won't ever – that's one thing that's always been consistent with this event. I think we put out a brutally challenging pattern. That's why we continue to see an increase in the turnout of the event each year. Again, we moved from 5 games to 6 games, and really that was a result of a lot of feedback that we heard from a lot of bowlers that bowl the event, some that have come new to it this year, others that were giving us feedback on what they'd like to see to participate in the event, and the general consensus was put an extra game in there. Some people had actually suggested to put more, and I said, look, I'll never go more than 6, especially with, like you said, the toughness of the pattern and the time it would take. We tried 6 games. Some people here this morning think it's been great. Other people have said that they would remove it. You know, like with anything else, you've got a lot of people that are on the fence. They don't know if they've enjoyed the extra 6 game being there or not. Some of the younger bowlers in the field didn't care that we finished at 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Other guys said, you know, it's going to cost a little bit of wear and tear, like you said, physically and mentally, let alone time crunch to make sure that these guys get done, and some of them are traveling and flying out this afternoon. So it's everything to evaluate. Every bit of advice and feedback that I get from people like yourself and Billy Isolt from the Pro Cup and every person participating this morning and this weekend is valuable information to, like I said, continue to try and make this better.
Watching Bob learn over here, this lane pattern today is hooking a little bit more for him. He's got a little more ball motion today.
Hopefully we should be getting an updated sheet sometime soon. I've just had one of my staff for the tournament come up and say they're working on it, and I'm going to have him double check on what the status is so we can see where everyone's sitting after game one. Pace seems pretty decent this morning. Spread the bowlers out a little bit. We were trying to determine whether it was going to be 3 per lane and 1 with 4, or the 2 per lane compared to the 5 per pair that we've done in the past. We went with a 2 per. I think the pace is relatively decent. Hopefully we should be around that 1 o'clock mark where we normally are, finishing up before we cut to the top 8. So anyone that has to fly out or they have travel arrangements, hopefully we'll get pretty close to that time for them.
Yeah, about a half an hour game. It's probably pretty safe to say. If you need to, if you ever need to jump in and jump out, by the way, this is your volume control, so you can just talk to somebody, come back in right there.
That's a perfect thing to learn, considering I've been dealing with a cough all weekend, so I don't think everyone wants to hear that on, the stream.
Boom. There you go. Okay, everybody, here we go. Got the standings up after game number 1. Technically game number 7 of this round since they've cut last night. So here we go. Bob Learn bowled 233. He's your new leader. 1634 is his number. Mike Fagan bowled 194. He now sits in second, 24 pins behind Learn at 1610. And third is Jeff Evans, who's been on our live stream the first 2 games. He's actually up on lane 30 right now. Got the late hit on the 7 there. Matt Gasson makes a move. He bowls 245, moves up to 4th. So Gasson bowled 289 the first game during qualifying. Those pins don't matter anymore. And then last night, bowled 2-0, I believe, to start the block. He had a look from out during game number 1 on that 289. Some other people went out and tried that last night. He and Learn and Cameron Doyle burned a spot on 25 and 6 last night. And it worked to Learn's advantage more than anybody else's. Gasson kind of got cut up in that game. But it's good to see Matt start with 245. Kurt Pelon is now in 5th. He bowled 210. We saw it right here. He's in 5th at 1563. And I take that back. He and Gasson are actually tied for 4th. Nick Crummell bowled 216. He's at 1551. Dan Higgins bowled 196. He's at 1534. Ronnie Russell's in 8th. He bowled 214, and he's at 1533. 16 pins back, just outside of the top 8, is Nick Cooper. 20 pins back is Zach Doty, followed by Tyler Slawbaugh, Tom Doherty, Jeff Fair, Chris Arcaro, Kyle Troop, E.J. Tackett. That's your top 16. Let's find out who bowled big games. Brett Shepard bowled 235 the first game. He's moved up to 23rd. David O'Sullivan bowled 227. He's moved up to 22nd. Tony Lambert bowled 229. He's won this tournament 3 times. He's moved up to 21st. Chad Roberts bowled the highest game I see on the board, which was 256. He's now in 17th. E.J. Tackett opened with 230, as we saw. He's moved up to 16th. Kyle Troop had 206. Chris Arcaro 216. So that gives you a rundown. High game number 1 went to Chad Roberts, 256. Jeff Fair bowled 158 and fell to 13th. Got a fan in the chat. It says, good weekend for Nick Cooper so far. Nick Cooper's in 9th. trying to get into the top 8 here. A lot of bowling left. A lot of bowling left. Lots of opportunities. One big game could catapult anybody into the top 8. 2 big games could catapult anybody that's, you know, down in the 30s right in it. That's what a demanding condition will do for you. Go full screen, Novak, Bob Learn. Bob Learn, your tournament leader. Struggling a little bit here. As I said, he's got a little more ball reaction on this pair. And now he's making the move. Left a couple of 4 pins this game. And now he kind of a can opener 8 pin there. Steve Novak is in 19th position. He opened up with 184. Looking for a double. And Novak's had that reaction the whole weekend. That kind of, it hooks at your toes, kind of sets, and just kind of rolls into the pocket. Hello to Christopher Hester in the chat. How are you this morning, sir? Got just about 500 viewers. Do me a favor, smash that like button down below. That helps us with getting our feed ranked higher in the live sports on YouTube. We would appreciate it very, very much. See if we can't get that like button up to 100 or so. I was actually going to look earlier, and I got distracted some way, somehow. I wanted to go look and see just how many of you have watched each one of our broadcasts here. Let's take a look. We did have the feed drop last night due to a cable that got snapped, cut. That wasn't fun. Getting about 7,000 views per squad. 7,000. I would imagine this today, this broadcast will get somewhere around 12,000. We appreciate it. Novak can't catch a break there. That would have been a nice triple for Steve. It's going to take you down to the other pair, but EJ's been taking a while to shoot this spare. Take a look in on these guys. Take a look at the scores real quick. Take you back over to Learn, our tournament leader. And here's the problem Bob's running into on this pair. If he goes up the lane, he's got too much hook. And now that he's moving in, he's catching that puddle. And it's just not shaping. It's just not shaping for him. So if I was Bob Learn's ball rep, I would say, Bob, I want you to move back to the part of the lane you need to be playing, and I need you to ball down. I need you to ball down a little bit, move back to the right, because playing in the middle of the lane like this just ain't working. You're a crafty veteran. Ball down a little bit. Throw your 4-bagger and let's get out of here. This spare here is no gimme. Learn could be in trouble here. Like I said, that is no gimme. And now Bob Learn is going to have to throw a triple to be in the 190s. And just like that, tournament leader struggles. Things can change quickly. Now here's Tackett. There you go. There's an 8-pin for you, EJ. There you go. That's the worst. It's the worst. It's just the worst. I cringe. You know, you got Tackett here. You know, he bowls 230 the first game, trying to move up. This game, you know, he's got a triple in the middle of the game working, and he goes 4-pin, run over the rack for an 8. I mean, jeez. Oh man. And there's JR. Just keeps feeding it to the tube, putting it into the 1-3. That's what's fun about this tournament. That's why we got 500 people watching all the time. Because it's easier to sit here and commentate or sit on the couch or wherever you may be and watch this and just say, better him than me having to deal with this. But whoever steps out of here with the $15,000 and the trophy, that car ride home or plane ride home or whatever it is, whatever transportation they take out of this building to get home, there will be quite the satisfaction based off of the playing environment that's been presented here at the Bradley yet again. Take you back over to Novak. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I don't know what the deal is with these guys on 25 and 26 right now. I don't know what's going on with these guys. Oh, and Learn just tugged that one so bad. That was just a terrible shot. That was just bad. That was bad. I mean, you can see the look on Bob's face right now. He's just thinking, get me off this pair. I need a new pair. I do not like my ball reaction on this pair. And probably sometime in the next 30 minutes, he will walk up to somebody and say, what did you guys do to this pair? Why'd you break down this pair like this? And that would be the folks over on 29 and 30 right now, Jeff Evans and EJ Tackett. But, you know, it's important here not to have disaster strike and start chopping spares or missing spares. You gotta buckle down here, Bob. You gotta pick the 610. Low scores on this pair. Yes, those of you that are asking in the chat about the lane pattern, it's 47 feet in length, 45 milliliters of oil. Very flat. Very, very flat. Got a 710 now for Arcaro. I mean, when it rains, it pours, and David O'Sullivan's got to be feeling pretty good right now with his 5 consecutive spares and in 3 consecutive strikes. Looking around at the tournament leader on his pair and everybody else struggling, the 710 staring at you on 25. If O'Sullivan can strike here, you might even see a little emotion. No, just left off his hand. Left off his hand for a baby split. Man, you just see over on 24, that ball just didn't get to the head pin. 710. Oh, hey, it had a chance. Need to go over, they're finishing up over here on 29 and 30. Jeff Evans finishes with 215. Evans was third coming into that game, so 215 should keep him, you know, in the cut and around that number, around third. EJ Tackett gets the 8-10 out. Good job, EJ. Good job. JR with a spare strike in bowl 190. JR in 28th coming in. He bowled 191 the first game, so he can follow it up with 190 even. So comes out and goes 190, 190. Just playing around the pocket, just can't strike. At least string strikes anyway. And JR, you know, after now, let's figure out how many pins he's going to be out. He's at 14, 16. He's going to drop a little bit more. 15, 33 is 8th right now. I mean, JR is going to be 130 out with 4 to play. Learn did get the first hit in the 10th. All right, so EJ bowls 193. JR bowls 189. Here's Bob Learn. Oh, what a big messenger for Bob. Take a look at that shot again. Here's Bob with the messenger on the 10. So Bob moved in, actually, which wouldn't have been the move I would have made. I would have stayed right and balled down, but he moved in and a little bit slower speed and shoots 182. Finishes with the last 3 strikes. I bet he wishes he would have figured that out a couple frames sooner. So tournament leader 182. And Mike Fagan is right next door. What's going on with Fagan here? Pair is he on? Have some new players moving in to our camera range here. We will have Learn again as well on 29 and 30 with O'Sullivan Arcaro. I'm going to give a shout out to Mike Moore's man, Brian Wallace. Got some Mike Kahn fans in the chat. Mike Kahn had a bad first game, bowled 149. So David O'Sullivan, who had a really nice game going through 8 frames, goes open to finish with 188. So no 200 games on 25 and 6. You see Fagan over there. He was in second coming in to this game. Behind Learn. Learn bowled 182. And Fagan can bowl 213. That was the first hit in the 10th frame, and Fagan missed a single pin in the 9th. So he can bowl 213. So there'll be a change. There'll be a change at the leaderboard. Bob and Mike will flip-flop again. Fagan will be your new leader. And Jeff Evans will close the gap a little bit. Not sure what Gasson, Pilon, Crummel, Higgins, and Russell bowled, but we will know soon. Up to 500 50+ viewers now. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for smashing that like button down below. Last time I looked, we were at about 80. We're up to 144, so thanks for that. Also, I think after we see Fagan throw this shot, I'll go ahead and give a promo again on this Gauntlet Fury giveaway that we're going to do from Hammer, one of the sponsors of this tournament. And look at Fagan. Now he's showing a little emotion because he knows he just took back the lead. Here is the promotion that I'm talking about. If you subscribe to the Hammer YouTube page and you subscribe to the Inside Bowling YouTube page, you will have an opportunity to win a Gauntlet Fury later this afternoon. And we will send you a direct message on YouTube if you won, and we'll do that just before the title match. And the King of Swing says, wee, 212. I'm back in the lead. Get up my new graphic for game number 3. Do have 6 of them for you today. And let's see if we have action. We do have action. We'll start with Novak, game number 3. We just saw these guys. We'll see if Bob Learn can retake the lead. Happy to get off of lanes 25 and 26. If you're a tournament bowler, when you go to that new pair, it just feels good to be able to hit the reset button. Let's see what Bob can do. He's playing the middle of the lane with the slow hook, which personally I'm just going to say again I disagree with. I would move back out to the right and see what you got on this pair, Bob. I don't love his ball reaction right now. Last night he was playing out around 9 the first game and then migrated in throughout the block. And he's already, in game 2 he's moved in quite a bit. And that's just not what he did last night on Fresh. But hey, he's bowling and I'm commentating, so there's a reason why I'm here and he's there. These guys are all kind of in. If you look at that shot there, the scoring console says David O'Sullivan just left a 7-9, but it was clearly 10 back. Hopefully that's not like a precursor to something that's about to happen on this pair. I'm going to bring in 2 screens at once because we do have new players on 25 and 26, including Tom Doherty, including Vern Peterson. Also, Tyler Slaubaugh as well. So I want to tell you about a conversation I just had with Doherty. Doherty came and sat down up here in the booth and he goes, "What can you tell me about this pair? It doesn't look fun." And I told him what I've been telling you guys about how Learn had too much friction out to the right, so he moved in and then it was very difficult to get the ball to recover as he cheated in. I told Tom that I would have balled down and stayed out to the right. So Tom was asking for my advice on what he should do. And I actually want to find out from him what he did. So what did you do?
I moved 7 left and just slowed it way can get my ball to hook down lane more than there. So I think if I ball down, it's still going to just you know
okay.
what I'm saying? Because it's so early.
Yeah.
Because he's throwing over it.
Yeah.
So that means it's early, and even at the arrows, it's early.
So your adjustment from the last pair was 7 left, did you say?
Was it 6 left?
6 left with your feet?
Yeah, and about 4 with my eyes, and then I slowed it way down.
A 6 and 4 move left, and he slowed it down, and he's up the back of it. That's what Tom Doherty's move was from his last pair to this pair. But he does want me to know that it was just 1 frame and not to get excited about it. So it'll be interesting watching Doherty on this pair because he saw how bad this pair was before coming over to it, and you know, some guesswork here. Nick Cooper. So there's Doherty, misses the head pin. Tyler Slawbaugh, Nick Cooper, Vern Peterson, Tom Doherty. Tyler Slawbaugh bowled 193, 198. Nick Cooper 212, 204. Nick Cooper is letter B. He's up right now. Vern Peterson 170, 133. Tom Doherty 194, 212. All right, so Doherty with the spare. And there's Learn. Take a look at his score here. See Brandon Novak off to the right side of your screen. Brandon's got good look from that shot. And Novak misses the head pin twice in a row in the same frame. Well, I will say this. I will say the leaders aren't running away with it, which keeps the playing field even closer. And it allows someone to shoot 260 who right now is a non-factor and become a factor. Looking forward to seeing the Game 2 standings that'll be coming out here shortly. Seeing how this thing has changed. You will not have to be present to win the bowling ball today, guys. It'll be mailed to you. It's a digital giveaway. So all you have to do is just go subscribe to the Hammer YouTube channel and subscribe to the Inside Bowling YouTube channel, and you're eligible, which is pretty cool. Right now, the Inside Bowling YouTube channel, we're trying to get to 10,000. We're at 9674, which is a great number. We picked up almost 500 subs this weekend, and we can't thank you enough. And on the Hammer Bowling side of things, you guys have been killing it over there, too. And by you guys doing your part like this, it actually helps the bowlers, and I'm going to explain why. Hammer's YouTube channel came into this weekend at 4,100 subscribers. It's now at 4,335 subscribers. Actually, make that 36. Somebody just subscribed. Thank you for the subscription. By doing that, make that 37. By doing that, when Jason goes to the sponsors and says, would you like to come back on board? They're going to help the bowlers and help solidify sponsorships. Help solidify some sponsorships because of your help by growing the social platforms. So thank you. What's up, Tommy? right, I'm back with you. Sorting through a couple of score changes. We had a couple score corrections before we get you the scores. Full screen you Doherty here. Keep me posted, Tommy. It's good spending time with you, dude. We'll see you later. Tommy Jones is leaving the building.
The girls will never be the same.
All right, I do have standings now. I believe the corrected version. After game number 2. Just got them. So as we talked about, Mike Fagan reclaims the lead at 18-22. Bob Learn is second at 18-16. Jeff Evans stays in third at 17-79. Chad Roberts moves up to fourth. Chad Roberts this morning has gone all-out beast mode. 256, 278. He now sits at 1750 is his total. He's bowled 534 to start the day. He's got the high game both game 1 and game 2. Dan Higgins is fifth he bowled 216. He's at 1750. He's actually tied with Roberts. Matt Gasson is in sixth. He bowled 178 the last game. 1741 is his total. Nick Crummell is in seventh. He bowled 187. He's at 1738. Ronnie Russell still eighth. He bowled 214 and 201 to start the day. He's just hanging out in the eighth position. Jeff Fair had a nice rebound after bowling 158. Came back and bowled 231. Kurt Pelon drops out of the top 8 by bowling 161. He now sits at 1724 and 10th. Followed by Zach Doty, Nick Cooper, Tom Doherty, Tyler Slaubaugh, Zeke Bate, E.J. Tackett, your top 16. Remember, we're cutting to 8, folks. Currently right now the number is 1734. And 24th position is Tony Lambert at 1635. So he's 100 pins out. He's in 24th. So I like to go about 100 pins out and see how far back we have to go, and that is 24th, Tony Lambert. Our only female bowling today, Giselle Paz, bowled 217 and 211, and she currently sits in 22nd position. And those are your scores after the first 2 games of today. Halfway through this game number 3. After this round, we will go into the bracket match play portion. When it gets to that portion, Jason, is it how many games do they bowl?
Best 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3. Best 2 out of 3. That's right. Just wanted to make sure. Thank you, Brandon Hurst, for the help on the enunciation there. Sleigh ball. Similar 25 and 26. So 29 and 30. And I guess you would go 23 and 24. Something like that. And then you just fill in the rest from there.
23 and 24 over here. Or keep a pair in between it.
I would keep a pair in between. Yeah. Yeah, I'd keep a pair in between on these. But as long as we have those, then that way, you know, it goes like that and it goes like that. And then, yeah, something like that. And then just How many lefties bowling today? Good question. 2? Jason believes it's 2. Yeah. That's your lever right there. You just slide her up. Jason's joining us again. I think there's 2 lefties, huh?
2 lefties. Tyler Slawball or Slayball and Tony Lambert.
Vern Peterson's having fun this morning. Chris Arcaro's in 21st position at 16.56. He's about 80 out. Still bowled 253. Not anymore. 233.
Like Paul answered on the stream questions, the entry fee is $350. We pay down 40 spots. We actually guaranteed the top 40 to cash. We only had 180 entries this year. The 1 in 5 pay ratio, which would have actually paid 36, but I'm not going to have 4 guys come out this morning and not go home with money after paying an extra day of expenses, food, hotel. So we guaranteed the top 40 to cash.
There's no re-oil before the match play?
No, sir. Really, we only oil 3 times fresh in this tournament all the way through. A squad is on fresh, B squad is on the burn. Re-entry or desperado, whatever terminology we want to use, is on the double. Saturday evening advancer squad is back to fresh. And then this morning we oil fresh.
How about Bob Learn rebounding nicely here? Just as I say that, big 4. Novak converts the washout. Mike Fagan is bowling on lanes 27 and 28. And Mike has got spare open, strike open, spare double. So he and Learn just hanging out at the top of the leaderboard. They just can't seem to get away from each other. They're like magnets. Learn had an opportunity to really separate himself from Mike. And Learn just bowls 206 with that open in the 10th frame. Mike can strike out for 212.
Are your numbers still creeping up towards that 10,000 this morning?
Yeah, we are. Our subscribers. Yep. 96-91. Hammer Bowling growing as well.
Weren't you doing a promo this morning, Mike, with that Gauntlet Fury?
We are. This one right here, if you like both channels, on YouTube, you have a chance to win Gauntlet Fury.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put my little plug in there again, as I did last night. We're trying to reach our plateau number so far of 250 subscribers to our Bradley Open website, and when we get to that number, we will be giving away a free entry to next year's tournament. So if you go to BradleyOpenBowlingTournament.com, subscribe to the page, we will pick one lucky winner at random to win an entry into next season's event.
Perfect. Yeah, check them out on Facebook. It's a very informative page, and that's where Jason gives all the updates on what's going on with the tournament, who's entered. I like the page. You should too.
Yeah, we really like to see a lot of feedback and positive, negative, constructive criticism. It's all welcome. You know, we like to hear what the bowlers that are competing and participating in this event and other competitive events like to see, so we can continue to improve and make the event better for all bowlers coming out and participating.
So Learn opens in the 10th for 206. You see Fagan over there, and that's a triple for Fagan. That's a shot in the 9th. You see him running it out.
Who's our top 8 again, Mike?
Currently right now, Fagan, Learn, Evans, Roberts, Higgins, Gasson, Crummel, and Russell. Roberts, the one that's made the huge move today, bowling 256, 278. That's Chad Roberts.
I've just been informed by one of my tournament staff that J.R. Raymond's just about to make a big jump with a nice 299.
299. JR was at 1605. That's puts him at 1704, which before this game would have moved him up to 14th from 29th.
That's a jump. So how much would that put him out of the top 8 right now?
About 40 or 50.
Quick way to close that gap.
And Chad Roberts, who I said was just absolutely on fire, bowling 256 and 278, has made it over to lanes 23 and 24. And now Roberts, the best he can shoot is 159. That's actually his 3-pin on lane 24 that you see on your screen right now.
Improvements. My bad thing is when it's only 220.
So these guys did much better on 25 and 26. Nick Cooper can still finish with 165, and Doherty can get to 194. Not so great there, but 227 for Vern Peterson, and 200 for Tyler Slaybaugh. That's pretty good for leadoff bowlers. Doherty, if he can shoot 194, sure would be happy to get off this pair with 194. He knew it was a bad pair coming in. And this is our championship pair, by the way, later on today. All right, Nick Cooper. 165. Nick was in 12th coming into this game. Still plenty of time. 3 games to go for Nick. Doherty finishes with 183. And we get ready to go into game number 4. It's a great opportunity to plug our Gauntlet Fury giveaway promotion that we're doing today. All you got to do is subscribe to both YouTube channels, both Inside Bowling and Hammer. To be eligible to win. So we get to see Doherty and company again on 29 and 30. We have Zeke Bate on 25 and 26. And the rest of his pair are taking a little while to come down. They're still bowling. You'll also be able to see here off to the left side of your screen over on 27. That's Kyle Troop's bowling ball. If you're already subscribed to the channels, you're eligible to win. You've already done your work. You can swim a couple laps in the pool while everybody else is doing what needs to be done. Also, I think it's important to note that the reason why we're able to do this giveaway is because of Matt Gasson. Matt Gasson led the squad yesterday, his qualifying squad, and because he works at Ebonite International, has decided to donate the ball for this giveaway. So it's really thanks to Matt Gasson is why this is happening. And we're rolling along here. We're up to 9,700 subs on Inside Bowling, and Hammer Bowling's up to 43. I see the numbers just keep cranking along here, 43.77. Thank you, everybody, for doing that. You won't be sorry either for subscribing. We're actually doing you a favor. Subscribing to bowling channels and you love bowling. If you sit here and watch anything longer than 5 minutes here, you're a bowling fan, and you want to see videos that come out. So if you really want to do the right thing, this is what you do. You download the YouTube app and you sign in under your Gmail address or your YouTube address, whatever you have. Log in. And then once you're logged in, you need to go and just subscribe to all the bowling channels. So the USBC, which is Bowl TV channel, you should subscribe to that one. You should subscribe to the PBA's YouTube channel. Okay, so those are like the two big ones, right? Then there's us. There's Bowling Digital. And I might be missing others, but those are kind of the four that you want to subscribe to as far as like live streaming content and stuff like that, you know, produced content. So go there. And then whatever bowling ball manufacturers, you know, you support, or, you know, if you're not on staff, you should just like all the bowling ball manufacturers' channels. I would tell you first you should go like Hammer, then Ebonite, then Columbia 300, then Track, and all the other ones that are out there as well. We understand you have choices, and you should be able to look around. So subscribe to all those channels. And then go subscribe to like Brad and Kyle, a couple of guys that are putting out content on a regular basis that are trying to inform people about bowling. And then just look around and find other bowling channels, other recommended channels. And then there you go. You know, if you ever want to watch some bowling, you've got everything all in one spot on your phone. If you're getting your oil changed at Jiffy Lube and it's going to take an extra 30 minutes or so, you can just pull out your headphones and look at the channels and what they've uploaded recently, what you're subscribed to, and watch some bowling and pass the time while you're waiting to get your oil changed or whatever. That's really the key to how to do that. Well, we are here at the 2018 Bradley Open, everybody. We want to thank Classic Products, New Center Consulting as well. I know we've been plugging the Hammer Ball giveaway, but those sponsors are very, very important. If you're looking for a new upgrade in your bowling center, check out New Center Consulting. They can help you out with upgrading your bowling center in many different ways. They've got some creative ways to do it, pretty inexpensive ways as well.
I think you were just mentioning New Center Consulting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've missed Klein being down here. He's a close friend and a huge advocate of the event.
Who's here? Who is it?
Well, right now is John Hammond with Classic Products, but I was mentioning Glenn Hartshorn. You know, big shout out to Glenn. I've known Glenn for a long time, 15 plus years. He's been a great advocate for the Bradley Open and competitive bowling in general. Great knowledge of the game and the industry in general, so he's always been a great help to me. I know he's working with a lot of stuff supporting his family right now. He's had some illnesses on and off that he's working back through. So great person, and like you said, anyone looking to make improvements to their facility, and a lot of us out there that work in the industry inside of a bowling center are always looking for quality products at a affordable rate. Glenn's definitely the person to go and see. He's a very, very knowledgeable individual about how to make more money for your center. So
Yeah, Glenn at New Center Consulting, check him out. He was in the booth, I believe, last year or the year before. Spent time with him. He sat in, talked a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, he sat in the booth with us. He, like I said, very, very smart guy. He's probably one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. The man is a wealth of knowledge, and not only with this industry, but when it comes to this industry, he's got a lot of great suggestions, helpful things that he can suggest for your center. You know, and there's other things you can ask him other than just the scoring improvements or machinery or anything like that. So.
All right, Jason, I'm going to let you introduce your special guest you got here in the booth.
Yeah, this is John Hammond with Classic Products. Himself and Jimmy and a lot of the guys with Classic have been awesome supporters for the Bradley as well. They've done a lot for us, for me personally also. I always harp on John, and he's super busy to get him here, and he's made time in his busy schedule, along with taking time from his family to be here with us. So I wanted to invite him onto the live stream, thank him for everything that they've done, everything that Classic Products has done for the Bradley Open, and hopefully look forward to continue building a strong relationship moving forward. So I appreciate that, John.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure we will. We're excited to be a part of this every year. You guys do a great job with this tournament. It's got a great name out there. Obviously, by the talent level that's here, you guys are doing a lot of things right with it. And like I said, we appreciate, Jason, the opportunity to be a part of it each year. You know, supporting bowling, obviously, I think benefits all of us in the industry, and you know, Classic certainly understands that. And again, like I said, it's our pleasure. So it wasn't busy as much as the weather, kind of keeping things a little bit dicey the last couple of days, but did get over here and enjoyed it and appreciate it.
Yeah.
John, what I want to know is, to all the viewers we have 594 people watching now. We're going to have thousands of views on YouTube later, and people hear Classic Products, and I make the mention of, you know, they supply, you know, products to pro shops and bowling centers. But a little more in-depth, what is it that you guys do for the industry that's so important?
Well, obviously we're a distributor of, as you said, all of bowling products. You know, I kind of intro myself usually with the customer. They say, "What's Classic do?" And I say, "Well, you know, basically we can handle everything in the bowling center besides, you know, the food and beer." Which obviously those are two key parts as well. I get that, but you know, I mean, you know, we obviously put, you know, we handle all the major lines for both the back end and the pro shop area, the resale items, any of the counter supplies. You know, in addition to that, probably what sets us apart maybe is a few of the separate things we do, such as apparel. We've got a very large apparel division based there in Fort Wayne as well. We've got a center services division that does all kinds of resurfacing. We do lane installs, pin setter repair. We've got a task force, we call it. It's headed up by a guy named Steve Main, who is very well known in the industry, very highly respected mechanic for years and years and years. He kind of handles that. We do all kinds of lane machine rebuilds and of course, obviously sales and service of those as well. Probably the focus we're going to do this year is involve Steve a lot more training. I think that's important to get mechanics trained. You know, there's some turnover in the industry, obviously, and you know, it's a very skilled set job. I mean, it's not something you can just hire a guy off the street to take care of your pin setters. So we're really focused on probably doing a lot more training this year in that regards, and helping proprietors have guys in the back that can keep the machines going up and down.
Yeah, I think one thing that you guys do really neat, and I only learned it this last season working with you, is that you guys also have a great division for aesthetics for the center as well, like building masking units, so the center can upgrade and give a new fresh look at a much more affordable price. So. Oh
yeah, I think masking is probably one of the biggest impact areas the center can make as far as renovations, and Sarah French heads that up, and and we've got some graphic designers on staff that have just done a wonderful job with being creative. We've got stock designs we can sell. We can also do custom stuff. If anyone has a chance, and I'm going to plug the shootout at the Fort here in a minute in Fort Wayne, but that tournament, Dave Small's place up in Fort Wayne, if you've seen the mask up there, we did that, and they're custom. A lot of local pictures. around Fort Wayne and that stuff, and it's just really a neat thing. And the cost really isn't any more to do custom at this point than it is to, pick out, some balls and pins and stick up there. So,
and that's actually where I was moving to, John, with the comment with the masking units. I know that up in Fort Wayne they've done a really neat, it's almost like cityscape, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a cityscape, and then there's pictures like, I know, the Fort Wayne Zoo, just different things around Fort Wayne that's in there. And the theme of the mask, I think, is, all roads lead to Pro Bowl West and Fort Wayne, Indiana. And,
it is.
And if you know Dave, he's very proud of the cities he's in. I mean, he's done the same thing in Kokomo and Lafayette and et cetera, where, he highlights the local area there. And he's done this, the Kokomo ones come to mind. He's got, I think it's a city of first and a whole theme across there, different things in Kokomo and kind of historic. So, he wanted something to really highlight Fort Wayne, and again, that's something we can do. Louisville, Cincinnati, wherever. We're pretty limited just to whatever you can imagine as far as the proprietor wants to do for their center. So
that's pretty awesome. I ran centers for most of my career before I started getting on this side of the business, and masking units are a big deal. And you can also customize a couple masking units, put the middle panels in the center of your bowling center, and you could promote summer leagues. If you're doing some sort of a kids bowl free program, whatever you want to do, you could just throw it up on the masking unit. People see it right away when you walk in the door. You can't miss it. You're looking in that direction the whole time anyway.
Sure.
So that definitely get in touch with you on things like that. We do have a scoring update after our 3 games here today. Bob Lerner Jr. does take over the lead again with that 206. Mike Fagan bowled 190, so they are just 10 pins apart from each other. Dan Higgins, who's actually moved into the left side of your screen on our feature pair, he's with Zeke Bate, Brandon Flora, and the other person on this pair has ran away. I forget who it is right now. But anyway, they are on the left side of your screen, and Dan Higgins is moving to third with a 221 game. He is 41 pins behind second place Mike Fagan. Kurt Pilon has now moved up to fourth because he bowled 234 the last game. Jeff Fair has now moved up to fifth. He's overcome his start with 158. He's come back with 231 and 212. Scores dropping a little bit here. He is in fifth. Jeff Evans falls to sixth with a 159 game in game number 3. Matt Gasson hangs out in seventh position. He bowled 191 the last game. Ronnie Russell still sitting in eighth. He's been there all day, bowled 195. And looking down the list, J.R. Raymond with that 298. 298 is what he actually bowled. It was reported as 299, but it looks like it's 298 here on the sheet. He has moved way up. He is now in 11th position. He is 26 pins outside of the top 8. Other notables here, let's see, E.J. Tackett bowled 223. He's just 32 out of 8th position. Looking down the list, Chris Arcaro had a 225 game. Mike Kahn bowled 258 after bowling 149 in game 1. So he's now sitting in 21st. Kyle Troop kind of having a rough day, 206, 171, 187. Doug Hymos bowled a big game at 258, moved up to 23rd. And that pretty much takes care of it. Giselle Boss, actually, though, 217, 211, 218. She's steadily moving up. She's in 18th position at 1871. Once again, 1929 is the number for 8th with 3 to play. And that's your updated standings, and they are updated on InsideBowling.com as well. You can go check that out yourself. We're hanging out with John from Classic Products and talking about all the things that Classic does. I also noticed a little while ago here in the chat, Neil Lau from Bowlers Deals has a comment that says Classic Products is world class. Not with 1 exclamation point, but with 3. Do you know Neil?
I do know Neil. Unfortunately, he's not one of my customers because he's on the West Coast. But, yeah, I've talked to Neil at Bowl Expo and some different things. He runs a very active Facebook group on Pro Shop Facebook.
Oh, yes, he does.
And, yes, so, yeah, I do know Neil. And, he's a great guy and, a lot of fun and brings a lot of ideas to the industry. So, like I said, unfortunately, he's not my customer. But
John, you brought some little flyers with you, didn't you, for the shootout?
I did. We've got the date set. The shootout, the Fort, obviously, is a tournament that's gone on many years in Fort Wayne. Again, it's at Pro Bowl West we were just talking about. It's named after Doug Barth, who was a longtime sales manager and vice president with Classic. And someone we all loved and thought a lot the world of, and you know, he tragically was killed in a motorcycle accident about 7 years ago. And since that time, you know, we kind of renamed it the Doug Barth Memorial. But it's a well-run tournament. It's in May. I know it's, you know, not always, you know, bowling's not high on everyone's mindset in May, but it's a great tournament if you get a chance to come out to Fort Wayne. There's a lot of good talent involved in it.
There is.
And the weekend is May 18th and 20th.
Yeah, it's an awesome event. I've personally bowled it. It's a grind. I'd say similarly tough conditions, maybe not as brutal as here, but a very tough, awesomely run, organized event. They do a phenomenal job up there. I think they still have a Calcutta with the shootout, don't they?
Correct. Friday night. Yep.
Friday night Calcutta.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of great things about that event, and the Pro Bowl West Bowling Center have always supported bowling at the highest level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dave does. I know he has regionals there, and I think he does at a few other centers in Indiana as well every year. So Dave's very, you know, he reinvested in his centers, and he's a big proponent of competitive bowling and has been a huge supporter at every level, from high school to collegiate to professional.
Yeah, like I said, every time I've ever been in that facility, they've done a really awesome job.
Absolutely. So yeah, if anyone's interested, we'd love to have you in Fort Wayne that weekend, and you can go to our website, classicproducts.com, and get some information. It'll be coming out a little bit more, and you know, obviously there will be Facebook postings and everything else as well. But we've got some handouts here at the tournament as well, as far as just the date. So
we'll make sure to pop a picture of it on the Bradley
Excellent.
Open page. Cross promote a little bit there for him. And did you have the entry fee this year? How much was the entry fee?
I don't have it off the top of my head. I do not. So
yeah, I think if I remember correctly, the entry fee is normally about $150 to $200.
somewhere in that range. Correct.
Paying around $5,000 for first.
Mike Flanagan here with you at the 2018 Bradley Open. We're kicking it here in the booth with Jason, Tournament Director, and John from Classic Products. John, what made you decide your company to get on board with the Bradley Open? What is it? I know you touched on a little bit about, you know, the field that comes to this event, but why do you guys give back, and why would you want to sponsor, you know, not only this event but other events as well?
Well, to answer your question to Bradley, I mean, it was Jason's persistence. You know, but actually I think we were involved somewhat before even Jason came on board. I mean, I can remember going back when Chip McKee was running the pro shop at Collins there in Lexington 15 years ago, 10 years, you know, and Chip was a customer of ours, and, you know, we would help out, not to the level we're doing now, but, you know, Chip would beat us up and get us involved, and started helping out there, and it's just kind of grown. You know, obviously, you know, like I said earlier, you know, from Classic standpoint, I mean, it's a two-way street to be successful. I mean, you know, we understand without bowlers and without bowlers in bowling centers, then we're probably not going to be doing as well either. So, you know, we're heavily committed to bowling at all levels. I mean, many people know Bob Gudorf, who's our longtime vice president.
Oh, Bob Gudorf.
Everyone knows Bob, you know, but, you know, Bob will give you the shirt off his back, and he'll definitely give it to you for anything to do with bowling.
Yeah,
he's still involved on the board with the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
And if you run into him, he'll sell you a raffle ticket for the Hall of Fame. So
and buy one, too, because it's a good cause.
It is a good cause. And, you know, he's still heavily involved with the Indiana Bowling Proprietors Association. We support several of the state associations in various different ways, from volunteering with them to supporting their trade shows and that type of thing. And again, it just goes back to, you know, giving back. I mean, you know, without the proprietors and without the bowlers in the centers, then, you know, none of us are doing anything. And, you know, we're committed to seeing the future of the sport, you know, continue to grow at all levels. So, you know, customers that come to us and, you know, support us and are loyal to us, and, you know, if it makes sense to help them out, then obviously we like to do that.
Well, that's awesome. You know, and Bowl Expo is a time when everybody kind of gets together, and that's when I kind of see you guys. And, you know, at events, obviously trade shows, you know, when the ball seminars are going on and all that kind of stuff. And to be able to house some of those at the places where you guys, you know, call home base, and to get out in the field, you know, the sales reps getting out and seeing customers and that all the time. It's good to see that with the decline in bowling in some areas that I feel like on the product side, you guys have stayed ahead of the curve, and you've looked at other revenue streams and ways to get involved even more. And just seeing like what Neil said in there, and just if you surveyed pro shops throughout the country, a lot of great distributors out there, but every time you hear the name Classic, everybody says, oh, that's a great group of people over there. We want to do business with them. They're doing it for the right reasons, and sponsoring events and giving back is just one way to do it. And I applaud all the efforts for you and your entire team that you represent on what you do for bowling. And a sincere thank you from me in the booth, and I know from the fans in the chat as well, understanding a little bit more about how all this works. I'm sure if anybody in the chat were to open up a pro shop, they'd probably give you guys a call and start ordering some products right away.
Well, we'd certainly love for them to, and I'd certainly love for them to do it in my territory. But
what is your territory? Like, what states do you?
Sometimes
do you
it's
have?
easier to say which states it don't, which is California for Neil, unfortunately. But no, typically I've got this area. We kind of call it the mid-central. I'm kind of the guy in between the warehouses. I'm south of Fort Wayne, north of Dallas, north of Largo, which is Tampa Bay. I've got southern Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, parts of Alabama, Arkansas, a little bit of the Carolinas, a little bit of southern Illinois. So just kind of a, I don't want to call it no man's land. It's some great centers, great customers, but it's kind of in the middle of everybody. So some of my customers are closer to the Dallas warehouse, some are closer to the Florida warehouse. A lot of them are closer to Fort Wayne.
Do you have Michigan too? Or?
No, I do not.
No?
No, I don't have anything north of Indianapolis.
How many sales reps do you guys have?
I believe we have 10.
Oh, my.
Which,
I didn't even know it was that many.
Well, 4 of them came on board, 3 years ago or when we bought Complete out in Seattle.
Sure.
So I know there's 4 based out there. There's 3 I'm technically based in Fort Wayne, like I said, even though my territory stretches on down closer to Dallas. We got 2 in Dallas, and we've got Bill, who everyone knows in Florida, covering the southeast for us. So, yeah, that is 10. And then we've got, obviously, our inside customer service people as well. So.
And where's home base for you? Did I miss that? Did you say?
Well, I live in Evansville,
okay.
Indiana. And then, like I said, my technical warehouse would be Fort Wayne.
How far is Evansville from here?
About an hour and a half. Hour and 40 minutes.
God bless you.
Yeah, so it's not too
God
far.
bless you for coming down.
Not too far at all. And the weather's great. It's really an easy drive, but Friday was a little dicey. So
yeah, boy, I'll say.
Luckily,
I actually left a day early to come here.
Well, that was smart. Yeah. Luckily,
Jason was nice enough to hook me up with a hotel room too. He didn't have to do that. I want to tell all the folks at home really quick. Jason's sitting in the booth too right now. Jason knows I get frustrated when I'm trying to do this up here because there's a lot of moving parts. And if something doesn't go right, I get frustrated. He could tell. So today he hooked me up. I couldn't find a Gatorade in this building because all the bowlers were supporting it, and they just, you can only order so much Gatorade. Well, the machines were out, and I needed a Gatorade. I needed some electrolytes to go in my body. And Jason stopped everything he was doing and went over to the convenience mart. And I know you're not supposed to bring in outside food or drink, but they were out, and hooked me up with not one but 2 Gatorades.
Wow.
And a water.
Jason, I'm going to remember that, man. I didn't know you were that helpful.
That's
sometimes.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Sometimes.
That's what he does.
That is fantastic.
And it's because of him is why you're probably here, driving an hour and a half, come down here. So you and I sitting here doing this is all thanks to Jason.
Yeah. Yep. He's done a great job keeping the tournament going, and I know he's faced a lot of adversity when Collins closed.
Yes.
And some uncertainty on what was going to happen with it and whatever else, and it's good to see it's alive and well. And I know the Carters very well here in Louisville, and they do a great job with their centers. And I think it's a good partnership, hopefully, for many years to go.
He could have thrown in the towel and said, well, bowling center's closing, tournament's over. All that history since 1979, gone. See ya.
Yep.
Bye-bye. Center's gone, tournament's gone. But he didn't. Took ownership of it, went out and made a Facebook page. You go like it, by the way, everybody. Dan Higgins just came up and said, hey, you got the cameras on the wrong pair. Andrew's down there killing it. Andrew Anderson has spare 7-bagger over on 23 and 24, and if he gets the one in the 9th, I'll move a camera over there, cover it. But
I did want to mention while we've got the feed going on a couple of these bowlers.
Yes, sir.
I've tried to pitch and promote every season for more win-a-spots, satellites, for people to run them nationwide. And in 2 of our views right now, on the left, we had Daniel Farish, who won a qualifier for as little as $60. He's here bowling Sunday morning. Again, with Tyler Slayball, same way. Brandon Flora, the same way. All of these guys have won their spots into this tournament for anywhere between $50 and $70 a piece.
That's really cool.
So, depending on where they finish right now, low to cash this morning's $400. The winner is going to take home $15,000. Any one of these guys that's won one of those spots for a discounted rate has that opportunity. So, anyone watching the feed this morning, watching the chat, being involved in it, if any of you guys out there are interested in running winner spots or satellites throughout the nation, anywhere, we'd love to see you guys do it. You know, all that we ask is whoever wins a spot, that the entry gets sent into us so that we can put the name of the individual participating and that's interested in being in the event on the roster. And again, it gives everybody an opportunity to get into an event that's typically $350 to enter for as little as $40 or $50. It could be a little bit more, but still, if you earn your way into this event for less than $70, and you're here bowling Sunday morning, no matter what the dollar figure is on your check, you're making a good return on investment. I think we've actually got quite a few win a spot participants in this field this morning. Which is really great to see. Brian Wallace, who's off to our left, he's won a spot. Again, Daniel Farish, Brandon Flora, Brett Shepard, Tyler Slayball are 5 that I can see alone that have Mike Kahn, 6. So 6 bowlers that I can see alone have won their way into the Bradley Open for no more than $70 and are here all bowling for the potential to win $15,000 this morning.
I got to make a comment here in the chat. Cole Davison says, my grandpa says he used to bowl with a ball called an am flight. It had 3 little white dots near the finger holes. He said he also had a Manhattan rubber, which used to leave nasty black marks on the lane. Now, this am flight with 3 little white dots, there is one actually on the rack. I've got one here, and when I move the camera later, I'm going to grab this thing and I'm going to show it. So don't go away. I'm going to show the ball. There's actually one on the rack here. I thought that was interesting.
I still have my dad's 3-dot am flight that he bowled with. I can remember when I was a little kid back in the late '60s. You know, that was the ball in the closet. You know, the 3-dot am flight. I remember rolling between my legs, right, 3 or 4 years old. You know, when we tagging along at the bowling alley on a Sunday afternoon.
And Craig Carter's got the setup here of the century for us. He says, Andrew Anderson shooting anything today? Well, that's where I've got my camera right now. Here is Andrew Anderson. He's actually got spare 7-bagger. He's looking for 8 in a row right here in the 9th over on 23 and 24. A little bonus coverage for you. Move the camera there. Let's see how Andrew's attacking the lanes. And in typical fashion, that's what we usually do here. Finally move everything over there, get everything all set up, and the player string comes to an end, but still Double A over there has got a good game going. And Andrew Anderson was in 20th position coming into this game at 1861, about 60 pins out. He's probably going to be in the 250s, 260, 250.
Mike, is that why they say you dark cloud everybody?
They do. They do. They do. But I will tell you this, okay? There's been plenty of baggers, big games bowled on our broadcast. Yes. So it's all a bunch of BS is what it really is.
I know. I'm just cutting you crap.
But, yes, they do call me the dark cloud.
I will say that you enabled me to win a bet last night. You know,
oh, really?
I knew when you were going remote to see Fagan going for 300. I said, look, Mike's on the move. He's going remote. I said, it's not good odds for Fagan down there. You know, he's about to go for 300. Everyone else is like, I think he's going to get it. I said, I don't know. I think Mike's about to dark cloud him. Bang, 289.
Yep.
So
I did get the first one in the 10th, though.
Yes, you did.
That was on there.
Yes, you did.
John, just to elaborate a little bit more on this Friday night, Brandon Flora, who was on our live pair, or is on our live pair, actually, Anyway, he had the front 11, and I moved the camera down there and got his 12th shot. He bowled 299. Right. Then he moved to the other end of the building and bowled 300. So after 2 games, he had only missed 1 time, and it was the time we had him on camera.
Yes. That is a dark cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to say thanks to Mike Moore for the shout out on the live stream. We miss you being here. Mike's been a regular supporter and participant in the Bradley. He's taking a little bit more time off this season with a new addition to the family, but hopefully, even though he's semi-retired from the sport, we can see him come out a little bit more often.
Yeah, I also saw Scott Pointer tuned in. Scott had some nice words for us and does a lot for promoting tournament bowling, I know, here in the Louisville area and in southern Indiana. Was recognized as such by the Indiana Bowling Proprietors back in November for a nice award. So that's the kind of guys you love to see, at the grassroots level, just pushing bowling.
Yeah, that's the same with Todd McGill on there. I just saw the shout out on there for we were talking about running more satellites, qualifiers, mini winner spots, and I had the opportunity and pleasure starting to talk to Todd this year. We were trying to organize some later winner spots in the season, and he said he's going to try and at least run 1 satellite next season. We appreciate the support in Cincinnati. We've got a lot of great bowlers here this weekend from that area, and we hope to continue to see more back next year and more added to the field. So I appreciate that, Todd.
Over here on 29 and 30, low scores continue. 193, possible 163. We do have 223 left. Doherty can only get to 183. Also saw Andrew Anderson throw the first shot in the 10th. He can still bowl 269.
Where was he sitting right now, Mike?
Yeah, Andrew was 20th coming in. He's bowled 181, 247, 196 so far today. We'll go there now. So look over the shoulder of Andrew Anderson.
Great shot there.
And back over to Doherty and folks. The guy that has been impressing me here, though, is this Nick Cooper. Nick bowled 212, 204, 165, but he can still shoot 223 here. Kyle Troop right next door can bowl 220. You just saw his first shot in a 10th on the left side of your screen. If you bowl 210, you move up right now. That's the scoring pace. 210 is a big score right now. Andrew Anderson's 269 is a massive score.
Yeah, it is.
It's fantastic.
Go back over there. I'll give you a little look at Ronnie Sparks here. He's got 145 in the 8th with a strike up in the 9th. This is his first ball in the 10th. He's got 205 left. Look. He puts his hands up. He knows how big that was. John Nolan from like a pair of ways looking at him, shaking his head up and down. It's funny when these guys, when it's this hard and you watch a guy throw a shot and he trips a 4-pin or something and is able to get a double going into the 10th frame and try to save 200, and all the athletes around him are looking at him like waving their heads like, yeah, there you go. Anderson with the ball change, doesn't matter. 269, Andrew Anderson. Nice game, buddy.
Awesome game.
Nice bowling. I'm going to keep it here. We'll look at Sparks' second shot as well.
That's actually another winning spot bowler right there by Ronnie Sparks. Kyle Rogers in the blue and blue hat. That's another individual. So there's seven bowlers this morning out of a field of 40 that won their spots into this event for $70 or less. Shane, thanks for tuning in this morning. Cut through 4 hasn't been posted yet. Cut through 3 was Ronnie Russell on 1929. He's what he's currently sitting on for his accumulated scores.
Yep, and Zach Doty was 10 back of him. Chad Roberts fell to 10th after jumping up to 4th. Chad Roberts started the day. He was the story of the tournament the first couple of games. 256, 278, then 158. Just so quickly You can catch a pair and just be lost.
And that's the same with Andrew Anderson on the opposite way. I mean, that 269 is going to propel him up the field pretty well.
Yeah, I would predict Andrew Anderson's going to be inside the top 8 now. If not, he will be just outside of it.
Right.
And that's what you want. I mean, from sitting in this booth, you know, I think everybody pretty much knows I hate qualifying. The qualifying is just not fun to commentate. It's not exciting. This is the day that I come in, I strap in, and I really enjoy what's going on. And being able to see all these players jockey for position, a guy like Chad Roberts to make such a move and go 130 over 2 games and then give 100, you know, then give 50 back. You know, it's just the jockeying up and down for 8 spots, 40 players for 8 spots. You know, and you got such a stacked field. It's grueling for the players, but fun for us.
Yeah, and it's a real diverse field as well. You know, you've got your household names out there, but you've got locals that a lot of our viewers and people in the chat this morning may not even know. You know, they may live 10 minutes down the street from this facility. They may live in this state, but they've all put in a great performance over the weekend to get here.
I think that's what makes this tournament, you know, and others like it, so appealing, is that, you know, your local bowlers who are good, you know, can get a chance to get over some PBA guys and ladies and, you know, actually beat them.
Yeah,
and I think that's neat. It's kind of, you know, the whole Cinderella story. And you know, what makes March Madness so appealing is when the, you know, the Butlers of the world make it to the final game or something. I mean, it's kind of the same thing here.
That's a great question by Shane on the chat as well. Shane Dunsting's a local Lexington area bowler. He's participated in this event several times. We miss seeing you out here. Hopefully we can get you back next year. He's asked what the difference is between the lane play at Eastland compared to here at Ken Bowl. Well, the surface is very different. You're looking at first generation Amberlane that was at Eastland, so a completely different surface. The surface itself made the condition hard. Here, John, I believe these are SPLs, aren't they?
HPL, I believe.
HPL here. So HPL here at Ken Bowl, the surface is much more aggressive. So we had to really play with the pattern. We actually made last-minute adjustments at 1:30 in the morning on Friday. We put the shot out early. There was too much shape, in my opinion. So we made some changes, some brush speed, some loads in the middle, some distance, some buff at the end. And from the feedback that I've heard from a lot of bowlers that have bowled this event for years, the conditions are still demanding, tough, brutal, very comparable to what they would expect the normal Bradley pattern to be.
And this 25 and 26 is our championship pair. This will be the final pair used today when we crown the champion. $15,000 will be awarded based off of what happens on this pair, and this pair continues to play extremely tough. Dan Higgins in 3rd position. You know, today bowled 196, 216, 221. Hits this pair, bowls 180. You know, we've got 173 posted on the board. You got Zeke Bate, who can shoot 212, and 212 would be a huge score here. Daniel Ferris can bowl 194. 25 and 6 is tough. And now yesterday, for the night squad, Learn, Gasson, and Doyle all carved this pair up yesterday. They all played out with surface, and it was actually one of the higher scoring pairs last night. So it just goes to show what they do in practice, and who starts on a pair can basically determine what's going to happen when the oil pattern's laid down for the rest of the block. That's how bowling has changed.
Right.
I mean, that's really the X factor these days in bowling, in my opinion. You can manipulate an oil pattern based off of equipment to a degree. Some people are very, very good at it. Some people are very, very bad at it.
Yes.
And it's things like that that make the U.S. Open and the Masters so hard. Because out on tour, all of the players kind of start to develop kind of the same mindset, and they all like to kind of play around the same part of the lane and open up the lane. And that's why those patterns start out so flat, but then when you see the scores go up, people are posting on social media saying, "Oh, it's just a wall on tour." Oh, well, that's because all the pros have figured out the way to make them the easiest possible. But the U.S. Open, you've got guys that have qualified, although it's changed for this year. The Masters, it's kind of you can pay your way in and you can show up, and you're not necessarily working with the network group of guys, and you may start in around 20 and everybody else is playing out, and if you follow that pair, or a guy used urethane, or yada yada, I could talk for the next 30 minutes about all the variables. That's really what changes our game and our landscape these days so much.
Dan was asking, did any of us catch, did his fill ball carry in the 10th? It's giving him a strike. He was just curious if he left the pin back there.
So all we have to do here is you can back this up. Dan.
We're watching now.
You can watch it.
Pretty sure I got 4 pin.
We'll find out right now.
7, I think 4 was the last one that stood.
You are correct.
That's technology right there, everybody. Okay, let's see. What do we got? All right, we have a quick break in the action, so we are going to plug our Gauntlet Fury giveaway. All you have to do is go subscribe to our channel on Inside Bowling here on YouTube and subscribe to the Hammer Bowling channel. If you subscribe to those 2 channels on YouTube, you are eligible to win a Gauntlet Fury that we're going to give away before the title match. You'll receive an email in your inbox on YouTube in your messages that you have won the Gauntlet Fury. I want to thank Matt Gasson, who won the ball yesterday, but because he works for EBI, he's donated to us, and we've decided to do this cool giveaway for the fans in the chat that have been with us all weekend. Gauntlet Fury by Hammer. You can find out more information about the Gauntlet Fury over at hammerbowling.com. We head into game number 5. We're going to keep you here on lanes 25 and 26. And Kurt Pilon is going to start out his fun adventure on lanes 25 and 26.
Jason, appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, John.
Hey, appreciate it, yeah. Be back next year.
Thanks a lot, John. I appreciate all the support.
Hey, Mike. There's a box of towels left up there.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, while I'm still on the live stream, I appreciate all your support, John. He's left us some, say real quick before he heads out. Little technical difficulty with the headset, but again, one more time, I wanted to thank you again for all the support, help.
Oh, absolutely, Jason. Like
Friendship on top of that. I've known John for a long time, a lot of years. He's put up with a lot of my crap. So.
Well, likewise, I'm sure. So, like I said, we value our relationships. We appreciate what you guys do and what you do with your centers as well.
Right.
And like I said, the tournament's good for bowling, and hope you see it running for many more years. So, congratulations on successfully navigating some choppy waters with the closing of Eastland and getting it in a new home and bigger and better than ever. So,
yeah,
great
we
job,
appreciate
Jason.
it. Well,
So.
John's left us some of these handouts for the shootout of the fort. We'll make sure we get them out to all of the bowlers. We'll hand them all out here. We'll take a picture and we'll put it on our social media pages for the Bradley. Leave one with Mike as well. See if he can put a pick up at some time for the shootout at the fort. They've also been generous enough from Classic Products to leave some extra towels and pieces to hand out to the bowlers and anyone interested. So we'll do that for them as well. John, Jimmy Land, everyone at Classic Products, the whole Classic Products family, we really, really appreciate everything that they've done. Again, shout out to a lot of our support system, especially for the sponsors. Again, for Glenn Hartshorn with New Center Consulting, he's a great supporter of the event. He's helped me he's helped me a ton through the years, supporting the event, supporting bowling, supporting centers. Definitely miss Glenn being here. So I really appreciate that. Hammer Bowling, Dave Wadka's been a super supporter for the Bradley Open. I've got a lot of really valuable advice from him. He's a extremely intelligent person with this sport. Awesome accomplishment with the new position with Ebonite, and look forward to working with Brad Bridges moving forward for hopefully Hammer's continued support of the Bradley Open. A lot of other mentions. United American Supply have helped out, local company. Great Flood Brewery here in Louisville is a microbrewery. They were extremely supportive this year, trying to break into a new market across the state, not just here in Louisville. They're putting out some great products. A lot of popular microbreweries now, so they're getting into a competitive arena themselves. The pro shop here with Phil Vance, they were very supportive. Helped out a lot with a lot of little things. And the Carter family have been super accommodating with the move here to Louisville. They've opened up their center. It's a little bit of a learning experience for me on the owner-operator side, and for them having a tournament of this capacity. So as we move forward, I think we're always learning. And again, big shout out to Mike here in the booth with me. He's like I said, I see him as a mentor in a way. He's taught me a lot of things on all sides of this business. So having someone with this type of experience to call or bug on Facebook on a regular basis is always a valuable commodity. So I appreciate everything you've helped me with.
No problem, man. No problem at all. This is when the tournament gets fun, man. We've got 2 games here to go. We've got a whole bunch of people that can still get into the top 8. We got $15,000 on top because of all the sponsors you just talked about. We've got Masters champion on your screen right now, and John Nolan, who I don't get to see bowl as much anymore, but John has always been a shot maker. He's always been very analytical with every detail of his game. Doesn't cover a lot of boards. Pretty simple game, but very effective. Bowling with Kurt Pilon, both from Michigan. We've got the up-and-coming future PWBA superstar, in my opinion, and Giselle Pass right here. And bowling with Joe Bailey, who's supported Inside Bowling for a long time, is a great bowler in his own right. So we've got this pair happening here for you. Also, we've got the folks that we just saw come off of this pair. Get a little bit of relief going over 29 and 30. You got Daniel Farish, who you said won his way in on a qualifier.
Yep.
You got Zeke Bate, who just kind of burst onto the scene the last couple of years and was able to bowl on ESPN and really steal the show in Portland, Maine, and the doubles event with Dick Allen, Richie Allen, who was in the chat with us yesterday for part of the day. Dan Higgins, who has solidified himself in this top 8.
I was talking to Dan quite a lot yesterday, and he said it's the first time in 16 years he's been able to make it out to the Bradley.
Dan is more famous for his wife, Jen Higgins. She's the better bowler in the family, and I'm sure I'm going to hear about that one. No, Dan is actually a really good bowler in his own right. Jen gets a lot of credit because she's so good, but Dan can play. Pretty obvious, too, because he's in the top 8. Okay, we do have standings now updated for you after our 4 games today. Good job to the tournament office for getting that out in about the second frame of this game. Great. Bob Learn Jr., leader. He's at 22.55 now. He bowled 233 the last game. Mike Fagan bowled 194. So Bob Learn getting out in front. Fagan sits at 22.06. At 21.93 in third is now Nick Crummell because he bowled, wow, how did I miss this? Other end of the building, 297.
Wow.
Nick Crummell bowled 297 and has now jumped into third position. Kurt Pelon, who we have on our live stream right now, is in fourth. And actually, I should go over and look at the grand totals a little sooner because actually Crummell and Pelon are tied for third, 21.93 apiece. 30 back is Jeff Fair at 21.63. 13 back of Jeff Fair at 21.50 is Dan Higgins. Ronnie Russell got out of 8th position now. He's moved up to 7th because he bowled 213. Russell goes 214, 201, 195, 213 and moves up a spot today, bowling 823. Very consistent for Ronnie Russell. So 2142 is the number for Russell, and there's now a tie for 8th. Zach Doty at 2130 and Andrew Anderson at 2130, where Andrew Anderson just bowled at 269 to jump in. Only 1 pin back is Jeff Evans now. E.J. Tackett is 7 pins back. Chris Arcaro is 23 pins back. Nick Cooper, 31 pins back. Matt Gasson, 38 pins back. J.R. Raymond, 44 pins back. And the list goes on and on here. But the real story of game number 4 here was Nick Crummell bowling 297.
And Nick jumped from 14th place to 3rd.
Yep, in one game, and that's what can happen.
And that's 2 bowlers in there. The one that you called for Andrew Anderson jumping up from 20th. So we had Andrew Anderson jump from 20th to 8th, and Nick Crummell jumped from 14th to 3rd.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound crazy here, but are we sure he bowled 297 and he didn't bowl 197? It's a typo on the sheet. I know that sounds absolutely insane to ask.
Well, we've got 2 guys to the left there. We can kind of holler at them and ask.
Did Nick Crummell bowl 297? Did Nick Crummell bowl 297? I mean, I believe you, but he was down at the other end of the building. I didn't hear any applauding or anything. Yeah, let's make sure we put that in right. I mean, I don't want to question the tournament staff here, but a 297 is like, I mean, that's like a diamond. That's like us walking down the concourse, be like, oh, who dropped this diamond?
Well, that's true, but I will say I'm happy that we check. At the same time, we didn't hear a lot of applause for J.R. Raymond's 299 this morning.
We didn't hear a peep. You're right.
You know, one stick off the only 300 in the tournament that would have been this weekend.
Yeah.
And we didn't hear a peep out of it.
Hey, I'm just double checking here.
Oh, I know that no one's opposed to fat fingering something.
I want to know what he left. I bet he left the 124. 297 leaving the 124. That's my prediction. If not, it's a 3-6-10, right? I mean, it's got to be one of the two. Unless he just went through the face for like a split, like a 4-6-7. Something like that. But wow, Nick Crummell. We're going to find out. How's everybody doing in the chat? Everybody doing good? We're up to 600 watching now. Thanks, everybody.
Nice.
Thanks for all the likes, too. 233. The more likes we get, it increases our search rankings on YouTube. We certainly appreciate that. Very easy to do that. Also, thanks for checking out the Hammer Bowling YouTube channel. And also, thank you for checking out Inside Bowling and subscribing to both of those channels. 270 away from our 10,000 number we want to be.
I was saying I would love to see that click over to 10,000 before we finish today.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah. I'll again do my little plug. We're looking for. So I believe there's a correction on there. Good call.
I had a hunch.
Good
I
call.
had a hunch. I had a hunch. I had a hunch. Okay. Scratch that.
Was that a 207?
Nick Crummell bowled 207.
Yes. Okay, so there was a 9 punched in instead of a 0 punched in.
So I've gotten rid of the tie.
Yes.
Okay, so here we go. Well, the tie is still there, but they are now in the cut. So Just real quick, Bob Learn Jr. is your leader. Mike Fagan, Kurt Pelon, Jeff Fair, Dan Higgins, Ronnie Russell moves to 6th, not 7th now. Zach Doty and Andrew Anderson are tied for 7th at 21:30, and it's all bunched up. Now, Nick Crummell, just to let you know, is at 21:03. He's 27 pins out of the top 8. So he bowled 207, not 297. No big deal. A lot of scores to be entered here. I just saw that 297, and I always like to double check when I see a really, really big score on a pattern like this. Just like if somebody bowled 133 on a house shot, I would probably say, hey, you might want to check that. It's probably 233.
True.
All right. Cool.
Just had a quick update from my tournament staff. What a lot of people probably don't know about me is I am a huge soccer fanatic.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. Born and raised in England. I'm a Liverpool supporter. And to find out that my team just beat the only undefeated team in the league and completely upset the rest of my tournament staff is ecstatic to me this morning.
That's
it's
cool,
fantastic.
Man. Congrats. I'm not a big soccer fan, so I'm just going to give you the congrats there and not analyze it because I really don't know much about it.
Yep. Well, growing up overseas, that's I think soccer is still the #1 participated sport worldwide. So that's what I grew up watching. So if I was not here this morning, I would be glued to my TV watching that game. So
very cool. Here's Brandon Flora. You know, the guy lit the house on fire. He bowled 857 to start the weekend. That was on the house shot on Friday night, but he's hung in there. Today, not so great. 169, 204, 189, 173, but I really like this young man's game, and
yeah.
I think that he's got a bright future ahead on whatever he decides to do in bowling.
Yeah, Brandon's a super talented kid. I watched him at Eastland during the high school bowling tournament, or the Kentucky High School State Bowling Tournament when it was hosted at Eastland. Rolled 3 consecutive 800 series.
Really?
Yes. I mean, it's a phenomenal accomplishment, and at that time, I believe he was only 14 or 15. Super talented kid, always accommodating. I've got a 9-year-old son that is a big fan of Brandon. He always likes to help him when he's Brandon always likes to help my son when he's seeing him bowl, so he's someone that he looks up to as well. Like I said, overall great kid and a huge talent in this game. I expect him to do some great things out there.
See AA over there on the right after 269. This game, just to give you a contrast and comparison of what happens in this tournament when you go pair to pair. Andrew Anderson, who just bowled 269, has yet to strike through 7 frames on 27 and 28.
Whereas he just shot 269
yeah.
on 23 and 24. And just so everyone in the chat, when they're watching and they're seeing the moves, we have been skipping 1 pair to the right, but as we enter into the last game, to make sure everybody has hit a different pair, they'll only move 1 pair to the right instead of skipping a pair. Great suggestion this morning by Tom Doherty. Like I said, we made a quick modification, and that's where the lane jumps will be that last game before we take a quick break, finalize the scores, cut everybody a check today that's finishing from 40th to 9th, and then get everyone back out on the lanes for the finals checks and awarding a trophy to a new champion.
There we go. Which will mean that we will have Andrew Anderson, Ronnie Sparks, and who are the other 2 gentlemen on the pair? Do you know these guys?
You have Kyle Rogers.
Okay.
He is another one of our qualifiers, and I actually missed one. The young man is our high junior qualifier. His name is Caleb Nunn.
Oh, that's Caleb. Okay.
And Caleb also won a spot. So, again, you have 8 people in this field that won their entry for $70 or less. You've got a quarter of the field here.
Oh, Kurt Pelon. I want to watch this one more time. Look at this replay real quick, Jason. Look at this. Look at Pilon. And he stays with it. He stays with it. He stays with it. There it is. Look at it. Yeah. I love me some Kurt Pilon. You know, just all of a sudden, it's Sunday morning. Kurt Pilon's got a T-shirt on, some jeans, comes walking in, goes 210, 160, no big deal, 230, 230. Now he's throwing messengers on the toughest pair in the building, in my opinion, just because we've been watching it, and he's got a triple up there. And you haven't seen triples that often on this pair. So yeah, he worked hard for that one, and we deserve to give him that replay there.
I was talking to Kurt outside a little while ago. I've known Kurt for a long time, probably 15-plus years, and when I first moved to the States, he gave me an opportunity to work in his pro shop with him at Hazel Park. So it's great seeing him down here, and always a fun person to be around.
John Nolan fell off that shot a little bit. Here's the other thing with bowling, and I'm just going to take Nolan for an example. You know, Nolan for a while was committed to bowling full time. That's all he did. And when you're committed to it 100% full time all the time, you don't fall off shots very often.
Right.
You're sharp. A lot of these guys that have gone out, gotten successful jobs, but still like to compete, John being an example here, the last shot that he made just wasn't a great executed shot. And he'd be the first one to tell you that. But sometimes you have to make a life decision and still come out here and compete at the best level that you possibly can. And, you know, I was even talking to Fagan yesterday. I asked him if he was going to bowl any tour stops, and he said no, because he just doesn't feel sharp enough. And that's no offense to a tournament like what I run or the one you run here, Jason.
Right.
But he'd rather come to an event like this where there's less pressure. He can compete, have a good time, be a little more relaxed. If he makes a couple grand, he makes a couple grand. That's awesome. If he breaks even, he breaks even. No big deal. But he's not out with a magnifying glass on every move that he makes. If he doesn't bowl well, you know, people on social media, whatever, could say, oh, yeah, Fagan, he's done, whatever. You know, that's not going to happen in an event like this. It's more like, oh, Mike Fagan's here? Oh,
right.
Great. You know, like, it's just a different mindset. And right now that's better for Mike. He's like, I wouldn't want to go out on tour unless I knew I had myself 100% prepared for what I'm about to do. I'm bowling at the professional highest level. I'm not going to come out here at 70% just to do it, just to bowl a tournament.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think it's a completely different vibe from bowling the PBA or PWBA to coming and bowling this. You're bowling with a completely different group than what you normally would. And I've got to give a big shout out to a lot of the guys and ladies that are out there on TV that are participating. In mine and your events that still are super accommodating to all of the fans and the spectators. They never miss a beat to stop and take a picture or sign an autograph or take that time between moving lanes to accommodate everybody out there. So I'm going to take a quick jump off of here. I'm getting called by the tournament staff, so I'll be back with you, Mike. I appreciate it.
Yep, that's Jason. He's tournament director here, joining me in the booth a little bit this morning. We also had John from Classic Products in. It's always good to get the sponsors in and talk to them a little bit about what they do and give them a little bit of airtime. Hashtag support the sponsors. That's what you have to do. Support the sponsors. Very, very important. Give a shout out to my buddy Mike Wiedemeyer, who's watching today. Good luck today, bro. Good luck today. Tony Hines says Giselle still in the mix. She is still in the mix, actually. You know, Giselle, boss, she's in 18th right now at 20.69. 21.30 is 8th. You know, Andrew Anderson's going backwards. He's going to shoot, if he strikes out, he's going to strike. He's finally got a strike in the 9th. He can shoot 174. He is the number. Giselle bowled 250 the last game yesterday to jump in. So she's capable of shooting a big score. She's got 86 here in the 5th right now with a strike up in the 6th. And there's her shot in the 7th. So she can still bowl 226. I mean, she'll need to strike out for 226. But, you know, she's pacing 190, 2-0. So she would need a big last game. She would need a big last game. Kurt Pelon. That ball just read off the end of the pattern just a little bit. Kurt. He cracks me up. He just does. Zeke Bates in 25th. He's at 20.47. Giselle with the spare. Daniel Farish over there is in 35th at 19.61. Joe Bailey's in 33rd at 2002. Trying to look around. The Learn and Fagan are down on the other end. You know, Learn's at 22.55 and 8th is 21.30. So you gotta expect Learn to be in, and Fagan at 22.06 is going to be in. And Pelon at 21.93. He's pacing at 2-0 this game. You know, he looks pretty safe. Jeff Fair hasn't got much love from us today. It just didn't come through our lanes where we had him on the featured pair. But I'll tell you about his day. 158 start. 158. And you could just, 158 out of the gate, that could just be catastrophic. But instead, Jeff Fair says, no biggie. And he battles back and goes 231, 212, 222. So he shot 823 for the first 4. Actually, I see Fair out of the corner of my eye here. Looks like he's going to be around 2-0. So that's your top 4. Learn, Fagan, Pelon, and Fair. And we've got Dan Higgins up on our screen right now. He's 5th. He's kind of coasting along here. Higgins has got 114 in the 6th with a strike up in the 7th, and now this spare attempt. So he can still bowl 214 with the 9th and 10th left. So, 190, 2-0 for him if he doesn't get a double. Joe Bailey with a strike. And then we go down to Ronnie Russell, who is 6th. And I don't see Ronnie right now. Trying to find a score on Ronnie Russell. To no avail at this point. I'm trying to find that. Hockey Chick 4 says, we love Zeke here in Maine, hoping he comes back this year for the shootout or gets picked up by a team. That would be great. Andrew Anderson did strike out for 174, just came up to the booth and said, Mike, that was the worst bowling game I've had since I was a kid. That's a pretty bold statement. Full screen you over here to Dan Higgins. All right. This is the head pin to the right. 1-2-4 for Dan Higgins. Giselle with a strike. Brandon Flora out the window. Take a look at Higgins' 1-2-4 attempt. Ronnie Sparks finishes with 189. Once again, Kurt Pelon sits third. He can bowl 212 on this extremely difficult lanes 25 and 26. This group here has actually persevered on this pair. This is pretty big scores for this pair. I finally found Ronnie Russell. I don't know where he went, but Ronnie Russell, wow, can bowl 159 if he spare strikes in the 10th frame. He left a 10 pin. 159, and he is the he was in 6th at 2142. So there's just a whole slew of players that could bowl 2-0, 2-teen and go around Ronnie Russell. He falls backwards. We're going to have Ronnie Russell on 25 and 26 of all pairs. And when Ronnie's going to need a game to get in, we're going to have it for you here. Meanwhile, Joe Bailey says, I don't know what you guys are talking about. This 25 and 6 ain't bad. Still shoot 220. We've seen everybody come through this pair and bowl 180 or so, including Bob Learn. Bob Learn today, 233, 182 on this pair, 206, 233. Slow gamesman on this pair. Joe Bailey just figured it out. Maybe he needs to give people cliff notes on how to attack 25 and 26. They'd probably give you a couple bucks for that, Joe. Thanks everybody in the chat for suggesting hitting the like button down below and subscribing to the channel. Certainly do appreciate you guys encouraging one another to do so. So Kurt Pelon bowls par 200. One open and a triple. And that's pretty much, that defines 25 and 26. That defines that pair. What Kurt Pelon just did defines 25 and 26. 227 for Joe Bailey. That's probably about the best game we've seen bowled on this pair today. John Nolan can still bowl 185. And Giselle can bowl 216. However, I will say that the pin carry on this pair has not been good. Liz Johnson has been on this pair a couple of times on our live stream this weekend and not good. So let's see if Giselle, with her lower rev rate and her non-powerful strike ball, can figure out a way to knock them all down. And there's the first one right there in the 10th. That's a triple for Giselle. She can still bowl 216. And she just keeps chipping away at it here. She is not out of it. Remember, she bowled 250 the last game yesterday to get into this cut. Could she bowl 250 today to get in? It's possible. Ronnie Russell sitting next to me in the booth here.
I liked my last 2 shots in the left lane. Something did not want me to knock them all down. I ran 10 more shots in the left lane last.
Bowl 150.
157.
157 for Ronnie.
I'm 100 over now.
Yep.
Numbers got dropped a little bit.
And you're coming over at 25 and 26. What do you know about 25 and 26? As Giselle gets the 4-bagger.
I know it's hooking more than the pair I just went to, and I already made a zone change over there, so I don't know.
This pair has been very, very hard. Joe Bailey's 227 is the best game we've seen bowled on this pair. You might want to talk to him.
I've seen where he's playing. He was an arrow left of where I am. So, and I was an arrow left of where I was in the previous game before that. So, this part of the house just looks so much. I don't know. What's it going to take?
Ooh, Ronnie just asked me, what's it going to take? Nice game, Giselle. Very nice. Very nice. 216. Strikes out in the 10th frame. That was huge. Absolutely huge. And John Nolan finished it out with a turkey, 185. So that's it for Game 5, everybody. This is coming down to it. Great opportunity while we wait for the players to get set on their new lanes to tell you about our Gauntlet Fury giveaway. If you subscribe to the Inside Bowling and Hammer YouTube pages, you will be eligible to win a Gauntlet Fury later today. We'll send you a message to your YouTube account and let you know that you won. We'll also announce on air who it is when we choose it right before the title match here at the Bradley Open. Action underway over here. Let's see if I can't get you a graphic to add to the whole screen. You ready? There we go. We'll give you that. Game 6. And then we go to match play. Best 2 out of 3. 8 folks make it. 32 go home. Speaking of which, after those 8 bowl each other, that'll go down to 4, then to 2, and then we'll crown a champion. I'll pack up, and I'll be able to go home. I almost wish I could just come set up for Sunday and Sunday only and just walk around and watch the tournament for a couple days and then just set up and start streaming today, because this is obviously the most fun part of the tournament. This young man here in the black pullover, his name is Caleb Nunn, and he is the highest finishing youth bowler from yesterday that got into the cut today, learning valuable experience in this type of field. Just wanted to give him a shout out, give him a little airtime here. Also, lanes 25 and 26 are underway. Ronnie Russell, Tony Lambert. Ronnie just bowled 157, and Ronnie was in 6th position at 2142. So he will, in my opinion, unofficially drop out of the top 8 and need a game right here on 25 and 26. He will need to bowl a score. probably score around 220. Andrew Anderson was the number at 2130 and bowled 177 with the last 4 strikes. And now he's got spare strike. Zach Doty is someone I haven't talked about really too much at all, but Zach was tied with Andrew in 7th. I need to look and see what Zach bowled the last game. Hey, Zach, what'd you have the last game? What's that? 140. Well, you weren't the only one that bowled a bad game. Zach bowled 140 the last game. So Andrew Anderson and Zach Doty were the number, and Doty bowled 140. Anderson bowled 170. And Russell bowled 150. 6th, 7th, and 8th. That's what they did. So when you look at somebody like Giselle, who was 18th at 2069, who bowled 210, she's right there with those guys. I can't wait to get the numbers. Oh. I thought that ball was going to hook into that 5 pin. Just take care of that 5-7. Just clip it off there. So here's Ronnie. Maybe it won't take 220 for Ronnie. Maybe I'm completely off base with the 220 that you're going to need, Ronnie. Scores can't get here quick enough. All right, Ronnie. See what you got. See what you're made of. Pretty good. Or as Mitch Beasley would say, yeah, that was pretty good. Think Ronnie might need to pull out the sideboard pearl. That's what I won my only title with. Come on, yeah. Yeah, pretty good. Ronnie threw it pretty good.
Got the right lane 3 more, I think.
Took the right amount of steps.
What do I do to take the 5 out here, Mitch, on the left lane?
I don't know what you got to do to take the 5 out on the left lane. Maybe get yourself a different drill. Maybe put some quarters in your right finger insert underneath. Add a little bit of finger weight. Counterbalance that with maybe an extra balance hole. Change the diameter. Drill it deep and not have much of a hole. Or you can drill a big old crater and don't drill it deep. Either way. Get it to flare a little bit more. Andrew Anderson! Oh, sorry, I cut to it just a little bit late. I was too busy impersonating Mitch Beasley. Common mistake by a broadcaster. Yeah, how come you missed the Andrew Anderson shot? You didn't get his approach. Oh, I was, intimidating someone, doing an impersonation of another bowler, one of the nicest bowlers on the planet. Hey, Ronnie, what do you say? 5 pin? Oh, 248. So he's come in light twice now on that lane. Be interesting to see his adjustment. I mean, is he gonna just throw it slower and stay in the same spot? Is he gonna inch right and then potentially have a duck hook for a big split? What's he gonna do? I just don't know. I really don't. Man, this is. I feel like I'm bowling. It's exhausting. Meanwhile, Giselle has started with a strike over on lanes 27 and 28. And these guys that bowled over on 23 and 24, Ronnie Russell and Zach Doty, who bowled 150 and 140. Meanwhile, oh, Ronnie, oh my. Jeff Evans has opened up with a double over there, now has that 3-6-10 you see on the right side, or yeah, the left side of your screen, but on lane 24, I should say. Jeff Evans was in 9th with 2 to go. Come on, standings. You got to be getting here soon. I need to see him. Hello, Stephen Lane. How are you? Todd McGill asking if Mitch Beasley was in the booth, and yes, he was. Zach Doty. Strike, spare, through the face. And that's what Ronnie's trying to avoid, is that through the face shot. There are my standings. Thank you. All right, here we go. Let's tell the story. See what we got. I'm going to go to the split screen. That way I don't miss anything out on the lanes. Bob Learn Jr. is your leader at 24-23. Mike Fagan is in second at 23.96. Bob just bowled 168. Mike just bowled 190. Our man, Mr. Pelon, we saw it right here on 25 and 26, bowled 200 even, and now sits at 23.93. That 200 game, he's now 3 pins out of second. Jeff Fair bowled 182 in the last game, and he is 4th at 23.45. Nick Cooper bowled 244. Nick Cooper bowled 244 and is now jumped into 5th. He sits at 23.43. Dan Higgins is 6th with his 189 score. He sits at 23.39. EJ Tackett bowled at 214 and said, how about them apples? I'm inside the top 8 now. He has moved up to 7th position. EJ Tackett today bowled 230, 193, 223, 226, and 214. He is 7th. And Jeff Evans bowled 201 in game 5, and he is now inside the top 8. He is now in 8th position at 23.30. In 9th, 15 pins behind at 23.15 is Nick Crummell. Brett Shepard is now 10th at 23.09, which is 21 out of the number. J.R. Raymond is in 11th at 23.04. He's 26 out of the number. 24 out of the number, I'm sorry. Andrew Anderson's 26 out of the number in 12th. Ronnie Russell fell to 13th. He's at 22.99, 31 pins out of 8th. So Ronnie dropped like a rock. Zach Doty fell all the way to 18th at 22.70. Giselle is 16th. And I'm being told there's a score issue. There's a score issue. I got to go correct it. I got to go to the tournament office. I'll be right back. All right. Matt Gasson bowled 269, and on the sheet it's listed as 169, which makes a huge difference. He's at 23.61, so Gasson is in the number. Jeff Evans, everybody slides down. So they're updating, and they'll be updating it online as well. but Gasson is in the top 8. EJ Tackett's actually the number now at 2337. Thank you, Billy, for your help on that. So as soon as I get a new updated list, I'll have that for you. There's the standings, but Matt Gasson's actually way up here. His score was inputted by 100 wrong. EJ Tackett is 8th. I don't know how with this last game I see more strikes around than the last 3 games. Ronnie was just sitting in a booth analyzing his circumstances, and he says he believes he needs 250 to have a pop. Updated standings. Take the bad one. Here we go. This is your standings now. Lernan, Fagan, Pilon. We already knew that. Gasson is 4th at 2360. At 2345 is Fair in 5th. 2343, Nick Cooper in 6th. Dan Higgins is 7th at 2339. 2339 on Higgins. 2337, 8th is Tackett. 2330, Jeff Evans. 2315, Nick Crummel. He's 10th. Brett Shepard, 2309 is 11th. J.R. Raymond in 12th at 2306. Andrew Anderson at 2304 is 13th. Ronnie Russell at 2299 is 14th. Chris Arcaro, Tom Doherty, Giselle Pass just lurking behind. So, according to my estimation, Bob Learn, my pick, by the way, Mike Fagan, Kurt Pilon. Well, Pilon's going to have to shoot 190 or 180 to not sweat at all. Fair, Cooper, Higgins, Tackett. Those are the people to keep an eye on. And EJ Tackett did start with the first 4 and then got 8. And now Ronnie Russell has a triple. Spare strike, spare triple. And he called it up here in the booth. Says he needs 250. Says he needs 250 to make it in. Hey, Aaron, what are you doing? You getting ready to leave? Will you help me with something? I'm going to have Aaron McCarthy help me. So I'm trying to tell this cut score. Okay? So these are the standings. Could you maybe, as these scores come in, maybe give me some numbers? Would you mind doing that for me? That would be of great help. Actually, if you don't mind going to the tournament office and asking for another printout of this, yeah, that would be very helpful. I want to try to get this cut score right. You could be my eyes and ears. Aaron McCarthy, everybody. Thank you. All right. Giselle is not still striking. She's going at a Dutch 200 pace through 4. Wow. What's that? Gasson 4th on that one. Gasson's 4th on it. Yep, that one's right. Thank you. All right, so Aaron's going to help us out with some scores. EJ is the number. This one's correct. Got a lot of bowlers up here coming to me for wanting to know what's going on, which is fine. It's fine. We tell the story, don't we, everybody? That's what we do. We all tell the story. And I got to tell you, this interactive chat and everybody watching this thing together and keeping an eye on the scores, you guys are helping us run the tournament. I knew Gasson's number was wrong, not because I caught it, but because one of you caught it. So if you see something, let me know. We're definitely going to be able to take your knowledge and apply it to make the tournament run even smoother. Matt, what lane are you on?
Done.
Oh, you're done. You finished the last game already? What did you shoot?
247.
You shot 247 the last game? Jeez. Nice job. Where was that at? Oh, the end pair down there is already done. Any of these other guys bowl on your pair? Brett Shepard bowled okay. You think Shepard might have had 230 or 240? Huh, okay. Wow, Brett Shepard might have bowled 230. He was 11th. 2309, 2337 the number. Probably not enough. Ronnie Russell just 5'10". Can't believe it. Andrew Anderson here. He was in 13th at 2304. And he's going to need a bunch of strikes to even have us even think about him. All right, what do we got here? We've got a couple scores here to report. We got 206 for Crummell and 222 for Shepard. Thank you, Aaron. So that takes Crummell to 25-21. Brett Shepard goes to 25-21. That's unbelievable. They're tied. No, it doesn't seem right. 25-21. 25-31 for Brett Shepard. 25-31. There we go. We need to find out what Jeff Evans is doing, which he's right around here. Ronnie Russell. Oh. He just looked at me and said that one's not 5'10". And yeah, that 5'10". Oh man.
That's a good rack clean, I think. Apparently not though.
Andrew Anderson giving it all he's got. Those are completed scores. I got J.R. Raymond and Jeff Evans over to my left, two very, very important scores. To give you an update on what's going on here, Jeff Evans can still bowl 235. He's going to be up in the 8th frame. J.R. Raymond can bowl 233. E.J. Tackett can bowl 278 through 7. Ronnie can still get there. Need to know what Dan Higgins is doing. Dan Higgins is shooting 190. Nick Cooper. Nick Cooper's probably done. I think Nick Cooper is done. All right, I'm working on a Nick Cooper score. He's done. Jeff Fair also. Jeff Fair. There's Ronnie. Wow, no 5'10". Boy, this is pretty impressive by Ronnie here. He can still shoot 236. Aaron's getting that for me right now. What? 188. And then I need Jeff Fair's score. 188 for Nick Cooper. So Nick Cooper. Yep, 25-31. That's a tie. He's tied with Brett Shepard, 25-31. And Ronnie can get to 35.
Providing I'm at 5'10".
Learn, Fagan, Pilon. What's that? Where's he at? Oh, there he is. There's Jeff right there. He can shoot 220. Okay. All right, Jeff Fair throws the first strike in the 10th frame. He's going to be in the 220s. So Fair's good. 1 through 5 are good. Nick Cooper bowled 188. We got Dan Higgins pacing at 190. E.J. Tackett just opened. He can shoot 245. Jeff Evans, the best he can do now is 215. That'll get him to 45. 25. 55. Ronnie still got 236 left. Well, actually, I had Kurt Pilon penciled in. He's at 23.93.
Higgins is 157, working on a strike.
In the 9th, so he can shoot 217. Higgins can shoot 217 if he strikes out. Kurt Pelon doesn't have much going on here. 114, he can still shoot. He's pacing at 170. Still 63. He's in. Higgins can shoot 2-0.
Yeah, he's at 207. He'd be 9 count this year. He's at 206, I think. So that keeps him in the number.
If you look off to the left side of your screen, you're going to see on lane 24 EJ Tackett. He's up in the 9th frame. He's got 185 in the 8th, and that's an open. And there's a strike for EJ. Fair had 245. Jeff Fair 245. Nice game, Jeff Fair. So Learn, Fagan, Pelon, Gasson, and Fair are in. Nick Cooper bowled 188. Dan Higgins. I'm going to go down to that pair. That's Higgins' ball over on the right. I believe he's going to be in the 2 teens. Dan Higgins in the 2 teens. Just going to put him at 25.50 something. Ronnie, 4 pins. He threw it good too. Ronnie threw it really good. So Ronnie's not going to get there. I'll go check in on Andrew. Andrew's not going to get there. I need a J.R. Raymond score. Brett Shepard has 25.31, which is the same thing Nick Cooper has, 25.31. 217 official from Higgins. $25.56 for Dan Higgins. Learn, Fagan, Pelon, Gasson, Fair. Higgins is in at 25.56 right now. That's his posted score. Shepard and Cooper both have 25.31. Jeff Evans can bowl 205, which can get him to 25.35. So Jeff Evans picks up his spare. Bowls 205. So Jeff Evans bowls 205. He was in 9th. So Evans finishes at 25.35, which is in front of Shepard and Cooper. So Learn, Fagan, Pelon, Gasson, Fair, your top 5 right now. Those 5 are in. Not in that order with their finishing scores, but I just have those 5 in. Dan Higgins has 25.56. Jeff Evans has 25.35. That would be 7 spots. And then we've got EJ Tackett, who is now going the first shot in the 10th, which was a strike. J.R. Raymond, the best he can do is bowl 200 even, so Raymond can't get there. So unless Chris Arcaro, Tom Doherty, Chad Roberts bowled a huge game. It looks like it's going to be Learn, Fagan, Pilon, Gasson, Fair, Higgins, Tackett, and Evans, which is going to be your top 8. EJ doubles in the 10th. He's in the 240s now. Pilon coming into this game at 23.93. He can strike out for 183, but even if he bowls 170, that brings him down to 25.63-ish, which is still ahead of Higgins and Evans. So Pilon's safe. He had enough of a cushion. Keep in mind, once we get to the top 8, it's best 2 out of 3 matches. We'll have it here for you live on Inside Bowling. We're glad you guys have been watching. Trying to get you the right numbers for the cut score here so you know what's going on. Don't really have any bowling going on in front of us right now, so I'm going to take you to a wide shot out on the lanes. Actually, I could probably get you some bonus coverage. Pilon's pair here. Try to get you some footage here.
What did Doty get last game? 174.
All right, we'll take you there now. This is just to the right of our booth. Lanes 27 and 28. This is Kurt Pilon finishing out. He's up in the 10th frame. He's got 133 in the 8th with a spare up in the 9th. Wraps at 10. If he spare strikes, be 172. The only thing I need to know at this point, did Chris Arcaro, Tom Doherty, Chad Roberts bowl a huge game? That's the only thing. Yep, it looks like it's Learn, Fagan, Pilon, Gasson, Fair, Higgins, Tackett, Evans. Tackett bowled 245. Takes him to 25.82. So the seedings is what's going to be affected. Pilon does pick the spare. Aaron, thanks for the help. Appreciate it very much. So Pilon can bowl, 172, that is, 172. So he's safe, but he's going to fall down in the rankings here. He's probably going to have to bowl Gasson. Gasson or Fagan. I don't know what Learn and Fagan had the last 2 games, or their last games, I should say. I don't know what they had. I'm assuming they didn't bowl 100. What do we got? Yeah, I think I've got it all figured out. Yeah, nothing jumps off the screen at me. Jeff Fair's 245 and EJ Tackett's 245 were the high games. Yeah, 246 for Zeke Bate. So that took him, got him to almost 2,500. That's a good number. Who else? Yep, Gasson got that one. Yep. Yeah, perfect.
49.
Oh, who had 49?
Bob Learn.
Bob Learn had 249 the last game, so he is going to be your leader. He'll be your number 1. And I knew last night when I saw Bob Learn that first game with the look that he had, I knew he was going to be tough in this tournament. And he did lead. He's going to have led by a bunch, probably about 60 pins. So we're just finishing out a little bonus coverage. Sorry for the angle here, folks. It's just I just moved the camera over here. So Kurt Pilon bowls 171. $25.64 for Pilon. So if Learn is number 1, Fagan is number 2. Gasson is number 3. Guess. This is all I'm just guessing. I haven't done all the math on this. Fair is number 4. Then Pelon. I'm sorry, Tackett. Tackett would be number 5. Pelon would be number 6. Higgins would be number 7. And Evans would be number 8. So it'd be Learn versus Evans. Fagan versus Higgins. Gasson versus Pelon. And then that leaves Fair versus Tackett. That's totally unofficial, everybody. But that's the way I have it shaken out. Bob Learn, number 1 seed against number 8, Jeff Evans. Mike Fagan, your number 2 seed against your number 7 seed, Dan Higgins. Matt Gasson will be your number 3 seed against number 4 seed, Kurt Pelon. I'm sorry, against number 6 seed, Kurt Pelon. The 4 seed would be Fair, with Tackett being your 5 seed. Something like that. I think I got it pretty much figured out. That seems accurate. So thanks everybody for watching, I should say. I'm not going to break the stream today, but I am going to step away until we have this figured out. I'm going to build some graphics, and as soon as they get out to the lanes, I'll come back on with you. I'll leave the mics on here. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
All right, bowlers, I have your standings updated. In 8th place, Jeff Evans with a total of 25-35. In 7th place, Dan Higgins, total of 25-56.
Well, everybody, we got the cut score right.
In 6th place, Kurt Pelon with a total of 25.
The only thing I got wrong is Gasson moved to 2nd and Fagan's 3rd.
EJ Tackett, total
So
of
Gasson's going to bowl Higgins.
25-82.
Fagan's going to bowl Pelon.
4th place, Jeff Fair, total of 25-90. 3rd place, Mike Fagan, total of 26-02. 2nd place, Matt Gasson, total of 26-08. And your number 1 overall seed is Bob Learn Jr., total of 26-72.
Bob Learn Jr. leading the tournament. Bob Learn. How about that? Don't forget, everybody, you can head over to not only our YouTube page and subscribe, but you can go over to the Hammer Bowling YouTube page and subscribe. If you're subscribed to both, we will take a look at that a little bit later, and we will choose a winner to win the Gauntlet Fury Bowling Ball. The Gauntlet Fury Bowling Ball will be given away a little bit later today before the final match. We will have that for you. So there are your cut numbers. Should be updated online. I hope it's updated online.
40th finishers, checks will be ready by 2:30.
Excellent. Thank you. I have the bracket. I can tell you guys who's going to be on what pairs. We have on lanes 29 and 30, that'll be on our pair, EJ Tackett and Jeff Fair. And on lanes 25 and 26, we're going to have Matt Gasson and Dan Higgins. Out of camera will be Bob Learn Jr. against Jeff Evans and Mike Fagan against Kurt Pelon. So we'll have Tackett and Fair and Higgins and Gasson for you here on Inside Bowling.